Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
Hello, and welcome to another glorious edition of Coffee with Den. It is May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you. We probably will talk about Star Wars a little bit today. This is the Den Show. I am Dave, and I'm here with David and John. Or if you see us around the layers, you'll see Distant, Gravity Crab, and T-Swift or Die. We are all denizens, and we are all in Gainesville, Florida. And we know each other in Meat Space, so kind of a unique trio for Den. I think most of the places scattered across the planet and virtual friends, you know what I mean? So, May the 4th, we got a very good agenda, and we're going to talk about it. What was that, David?
So that kind of looks like, I like how John looks like he's like phasing in today.
Yeah, it's part of I asked him to put special effects on for the holiday.
Oh God, so he picked a Star Trek effect.
Yeah, whatever. You know, he's just in between beaming in and out is what it is. Like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where you're flying overhead in millions of little bitty pieces, you know?
Oh, God. Wonka Vision.
Wonka Vision. That's
it's not television, it's Wonka Vision.
Yeah. So good morning. We have John back. How was it? Oh, you're frozen in the
that doesn't look like back.
I'm going to give this a shot, though. John's connection is spotty. Which is because he's not traveling. So he's at his home base, he's at home where everything should be ideal and he has time to work on it and set it up properly, you know, do things like wire his desktop computer instead of making it wireless. So I'll go ahead and ask him, even though he's frozen over there, and see if we can hear the audio. How was New York, John? Did you find anything funny? And I'll give him 5 seconds to respond. 4. Oh, he's gone. So that's great. He can go tell jokes to someone else today, and we'll just be here alone.
Could not have been better timing. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's fine. So, what have we got to talk about today? I wrote this up yesterday and realized that today was the 4th, and I was like, oh, perfect. There's a topic.
Yeah, Jackie reminded me about that last night, which is funny because she's not the Star Wars person, but I guess I did make her watch most of Star Wars recently.
Oh, yeah?
And she quite enjoyed it. I keep making the joke at her, the Anakin joke, I don't like sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere. It's like
it's everywhere.
Some of the best writing.
Yeah, it's like diatomaceous earth in an exoskeleton insect. It gets everywhere and grinds up.
Metachlorians are how the Force works.
Yeah, let's bring John back up.
Is he back?
Hey, are you back? Let's find out. I was going to ask you how New York was, man, your trip there. Nope, he's not back.
Oh, he's here.
He's kind of there. John, if you can hear me, I'm going to actually take you back off of the stream right now. I love you. Thank you for coming back. Cool. So I will bring up my page here. If you're watching, which you don't need to, you can just listen. We'll read it to you. I'm going to bring up the agenda here. And what I wrote was what's hot, what's new, what's profitable, and what's the best Star Wars film. I think that's plenty to talk about.
Probably.
The what's hot part, I figured we can sort by trending on Den and just go around the different layers and see what's hot in that community. That's a pretty good segment. And then we can, guess what? We can sort by newest and see what's new.
What's new?
See that coming.
Look at that. Also, I don't have no idea how to tell you what's profitable.
I do. So I was on a meeting yesterday, and we talked about, there's been some issues with, well, not really issues, but there's been an edge case, I'll call it, I guess, where something crops up and the metrics page doesn't know how to deal with it. And so you get funny numbers on some days when something like particular happens. And so I wanted to go in, look at the metrics page and just see like what layers have been paying out this account the most. Probably not the best account to look at it. I might have to switch over to my personal, but that's fine. Because we talked, speaking of T Swift or Die, who's not here right now, we talked to him a little bit about like picking a layer for profitability when you're posting, you know, that kind of thing, which will be way easier once we have a leaderboard, because we have like a bunch of on-chain data that we can put into metrics on a leaderboard. So we can do that. And then maybe not in this order, we'll probably talk about Star Wars. But before we do all that, I would like to see what others have been asking. So let's scroll down.
We have a couple of questions. Most of it's from people that we talk to regularly, so it should be easy stuff.
Yeah. So I am. Thanks again for always being so involved. I am posted in the Den layer. Let me just go to that now. Posted a I can't right click and open in a new tab, can I? Damn it, Den. So
we get mad at it too sometimes, all right?
Yeah, it's a beta system, you know what I mean? Oh, is this it? This is it. I don't know. Have you seen this, David? Cool.
Nope.
So if anybody hasn't seen this, if you go over the Den layer, it's one of the more recent ones. It was posted on, it looks like Monday or Sunday. And then there's a bunch of data. So here's the cool thing about blockchain and developing on a public ledger is everything that you do that involves some sort of, well, some public blockchain, I guess, right? In this case, it's Ethereum, can be inspected by anybody in the world. And if you have the skill set, if you know statistics, if you know how to pull data, if you know how to graph it, if you know how to interpret things, you can build shit like this post, which got 18,000 energy.
Holy hell, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So if you, speaking of what's profitable, this is original content. This is one thing this is probably the single most profitable thing that you can do on Den to make money. If you're looking at this as like a play to earn game, which you can totally do. I would approach it like you would approach something like freaking Morrowind or Oblivion or something, right? Where in the beginning, you're going to like have to figure out how a lot of stuff works. And then you'll find out what works for you and what particular role you think you're good at. And then you can do the shit out of that role and you can do it better than anybody else. And I've got a couple of tips on that. We all like making money, right? Yeah. So if, and this isn't for everyone, but if this is your thing, creating original content that is unique and never been done before and directly relevant to whatever layer you're in, you can probably, now I don't know what I am earned off of this, but as you can see, it's a pretty popular post. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before I read that, let me hit the comments and say, I am, good morning. They are actually on with us right now. So that's fantastic.
Hey.
So we're going to read your post a little bit, not the whole thing. It's quite long. Thank you for that. And then we're going to read your comment because it's a technical comment that is sort of a follow-up from this post. And I guess that's why I wanted to go here first. So if you go and find this post in the Den layer, it's got a bunch of cool stuff. Like here's a bulleted list of below. It says below is the market info for Matter and user growth rates for Den.Social. So this is something. This is the whole idea, right? Den.DAO is a DAO. It is open for governance by anyone in the world, right? And it also is very transparent about what it's doing and the data that's all on chain and stuff like that. So anyone who's inclined can do stuff like this and create content and help everybody out. And in the future, I know we're going to be looking for more people. Like I know there's like a whole incentive program planned for creators who can get like literally founders NFTs for Den itself. in a program that isn't launched yet, but that'll be a whole like advertising thing. Like, here's what we're doing, and it's open for right now. It's open beta, right? But at some point it'll be like call for creators. If you have a channel already, you can just add this to your stack, and you'll earn ownership in the company, that kind of thing, or in the DAO or in the governance scheme. So right now the Uniswap V2 price, when they did this, was 20 cents, and the Uniswap V3 price was 38 cents. So that's interesting. If you don't know what that means, it's basically two different places where you can go buy and sell matter, MTR. V2 was the original one, and I wanted to point this out because of something we hit last time with Jacob Wayne, if you remember, sold on V2. We could see that on chain. And because of that, I think they probably got less money for it, right? They probably sold at a lower, less profitable price. Now, that is the scenario there, if I'm guessing what happened, is that Denizen, it has been here for a long time and has been here since V2 was the only place to go. And so they probably had it bookmarked, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And so they went to the old place. Now, the reason you can still do that is because we incentivize governance. The first form of governance we had, which was a placeholder for the permanent one that we have now, was a different NFT altogether, different lot. It was only for that 1 year, for 2021 or something. And yeah, 2021. And to get them, you had to add liquidity to, or rather, okay, let me break that down. I hate using terms that I feel like are confusing. To get that token, you had to, I don't know. I'll keep it. Look up liquidity if you're confused. This is not a tutorial. But anyway, you had to add liquidity to V2, which means putting assets in so that people can trade on them, and so that there's an ability to, swap matter for each.
You add to the money bucket.
Exactly. Thank you. And then when we transitioned to the permanent Den.DAO scheme that we always wanted, we moved at that time to Uniswap V3, because in between those two times, Uniswap developed like a way better system. And so we migrated and we told everybody, hey, pull your liquidity out of V2 and put it in V3. Now, some people went away and didn't do that. So some of the liquidity is still there. And so people can still go trade on that pair. In fact, if the price gets different enough, you can literally buy it over here for 20 cents and sell it over here for 38 cents. That's called arbitrage. So there's profitability right there. You can make the two match if you want, and if you can handle the fees, you can make these two match, and that'll be profitable for you. That's a service that you're doing for the system, I guess.
I was going to say that would also technically be a good thing, right?
Yeah. Break here. Let me bring John back up. It looks like he's in a different room, which may have better signal.
Oh, we're all moving around today.
Yeah. John, how are you? Can you hear me, and can we hear you? Yeah.
All right. So I changed computers. That's why I'm in a different room.
Okay.
But now I'm also running off the internet on my phone, which I'm getting 1.6 download.
That's great. You sound great. You look great compared to whatever that garbage was before. Yeah. So yeah, we were just talking about making money and how things work. I'll just carry on and come back to you in a second. I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring you up since you seemed like you were doing better now. So that's really what I wanted to point out for this long post full of data. Dig into it. There's some cool stuff here, top 20 largest layers, top 20 layers with new subs per day, top 20 layers with fastest 2-month growth rate, all kinds of stuff in here. And then there's some analysis, some silver lining to some things, some talk about how price isn't everything. I totally agree. Especially like the analogy I used earlier, where you just kind of like, you're building up your character almost, right? And then again, you have stuff like, okay, you want to build up a little matter stack so that you can have enough energy. You want to build up a little, stack of lots so you have, some passive income. You want to build up some lore so you can vote on stuff. You know what I mean? So you can stack stuff, and then once you have all that together, you can actually really, use every part of the system, because now you have resources to do that. So that's all I wanted to say.
I got completely distracted by all these charts here with just metrics on them. I hadn't actually looked through any of this stuff. Ooh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with that introduction to this
Creature
question,
comforts is only 11 on like top layers. That's wild.
I don't know. Yeah,
I thought they'd be much
Cucumber's a
higher
good
up
layer. So then, following up to that, the question of does or did the Den.DAO put up the matter liquidity on the Uniswap DEX V2 and V3? So I think I just answered that unintentionally, but basically, no, we incentivize other people to do it. And I say we, I mean Den. And so when I say we, I mean Den.DAO. So it's kind of like everyone. I don't like, and it's weird. I don't like being put on a pedestal. So I don't say, when I say we or I, if I say I mean me. If I say we, I mean Den, including the denizens. But yeah, they can put the framework up, but then everybody else adds the liquidity to it. And as I said here, that's probably why the liquidity is lower than a lot of projects who just mint coins and earmark them for liquidity and say, here's what's going to go into liquid at the beginning of the project and stuff like that. We don't do it that way because we're in the USA. And that is the very short, that's the shortest way I can say we don't, if we felt like we could do it that way and not be slammed by our ruling class for doing something they're jealous of, then we would probably do all that shit because it's really useful. But
Tell us how you really feel, Dave.
No, this is I told you before the show, I'm a little bit off, a little bit pissed today. But
Spicy Dave is a fun
there
Dave.
You go, Spicy Dave.
So like, I may poke at you occasionally.
Yeah. So let me go, since this next question is also a technical question, I guess I'll just go ahead and read through this too, and then kind of explain it to you two as I go through. And then what else we have? We have two more after that well, I haven't read them yet, so we'll see.
It's been really nice having all this information spoon-fed to me for the past like half a year at this point.
Yeah, I read a really interesting, very short, well, it was a tweet, right? So of course it was short. But who did I send that to? Did I send it to you guys? Yes, I did. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Oh, did I send it to you?
It might have been the one that
sent it to. Yeah, Twitter. There you are. And this is something that I felt was important and inspiring and all that stuff. It says, if you're really plugged into crypto, you have valuable knowledge. It's more rare than you'd think. There are going to be hundreds, probably thousands, of companies led by Web2 teams and founders entering the space in the coming years. I think they will want to know what you know. So basically,
that's some history repeating itself stuff right there. We literally that happened with the computer industry and then with the .com boom, and probably a good place to be in early.
Yeah, if you can get any of this spoon-fed to you, do it. So yes, the next question, I am says, this may take a little research on your part. Funny enough, it didn't, because when I read this, I had just a few hours before, we had a meeting about the exact thing you're talking about. So I had just got done looking at this contract. But basically, in all that data, this looks like one of them that I am could not be sure about what it was. And so there's a certain contract that has a balance of matter, and it looks like it's going down over time. And what that is I shouldn't have pressed that button. Let me go back. What that is there's a basically there's a smart contract that holds a balance, right? That is used whenever you move matter in and out of DIN from Ethereum and into DragonNet, right? So you can think of that as if you are earning matter on DIN and then you withdraw that matter from DIN to Ethereum, that's going to be the pool on Ethereum that's locked up that corresponds to matter that you have in your account, where you can get it on Ethereum at that point. So there's a bunch of stuff that happens in there, but that's basically the flow. And so what is being done, and the reason that balance is going down like that, is that occasionally it needs to be topped up, right? So Matter, the token, there's 1,000 of them minted every day for the next 1,300 years or however long it is. And then that Matter, though, belongs to all the denizens, and it gets distributed and paid out, on Den. But on Ethereum side, we don't want to do something like, if you've ever seen like news about a company, a Web3 company or a crypto company getting hacked and their funds drained, it's because they keep too damn much in a wallet that is easy to get to, or in a contract that's easy to get to, right? This one's easy to get to on purpose because we need the denizens to be able to use it. Anybody, but the majority of the funds are locked up in a multi-sig account, which means no one person can control it. And you have to have like everybody come together and say, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to sign this transaction. None, it's not a
multiple keys to unlock the door.
It's not a heist. Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's what that is. We refill it from the multi-sig occasionally. And that's why it looks like it doesn't have very much, because it's not supposed to. All right. So there's hopefully the technical ones. And then we can get into, what are your thoughts on delayed or scheduled posts, setting content to a scheduled time, self-explanatory.
I like this.
Yeah. Are there any platforms that offer something like this? Yes. Thanks, guys. Have a good show. I would say almost every single major multi-billion-dollar platform has that feature.
Yeah, that's so useful. That would be great for the coffee post. It would be great for the weekly posts.
Mm-hmm. That's going to come with, there's a feature, and I'll actually bring it up right now. If you look at our proposals from, I guess it would be in Den.Social, right? There's a list of features, discussion, feature prioritization. Cool. It's the first one, the most popular post up here. So if you look at this one, you'll see a whole bunch of features. You can look at this as a dynamic roadmap. It is not a roadmap because these are not going to be in order. I know they're numbered. They probably should have been bullets or something. But these get voted on. Once we finish a feature, we vote on what's the next feature. And so what you're talking about will likely show up when we do this, smart contract integration API. So this would be something where the individual layers can configure certain actions to happen in a custom way, where you can say like, we want a feature where if this happens, then that occurs inside of our layer. And that could be one of those things where you apply a smart contract to say, we want a user to be able to arbitrarily choose the hour that something is posted, and then integrate that. So I would say, yep, that'll come eventually. I need that, right? If you work remotely and you do anything like, sometimes you can get gigs as social media managers, right? Which sounds great, but what I've seen done, I've known two people that did this, like as a team. They would just get together on Sunday and spend most of the day scheduling social media posts out for the week for these people they were managing their stuff for. And then they wouldn't do shit for the rest of the week because everything's scheduled. And then the companies appear like they're on top of their social media game and everybody's happy. And then, your managers get paid, right?
That sounds like such a depressing life. And like, honestly, that sounds so fucking depressing for a company. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like that should be illegal. I'm over it.
They're just hiring someone to do the work for them.
Not
That's
even
all.
that. It's like false engagement. It's just I don't know, man. People are awful.
Yeah, well, that's what their whole systems are built
social media site being manipulative.
Yeah, it's so shitty. Like that. Like that's how like shit's done.
Yeah. It's like everything's robotic and by the numbers and not
John's
genuine.
on existential crisis mode.
That's great for my mood.
Look like I care about people. Like, I don't know. Why don't you try caring about people and see if that works? Like,
how do I appear as though I give a shit without actually giving a shit?
Yeah. And then you hire like an 18-year-old to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gee, I'm working
depends on what your business,
guys.
Yeah, it depends on what your business is too. Because if you are somebody who's not even customer facing, then all you really need to do is put out updates and, hey, we have a new sale going on, and Wednesday or Friday is Black Friday, so come in and do. What if you're like just a stupid retail thing that's a big box store? Like what's a stupid retail thing? Best Buy. perfect example, right? I go to Best Buy occasionally, once every year or two.
But I want to look at the Macs.
Yeah, well, I'll just like, yeah, it's a good demo room, right? I'm not going to buy one there, but I'll go check it out.
Absolutely not.
And sometimes they ruined this, but you could previously, you could get video graphics card there for MSRP, right? But now they made an exclusive club where you got to pay for a membership fee to be on the list to be able to get the cards at MSRP when they drop before they like. It's just they took the one good thing they had and they were like, how do we fuck this up?
How do we take all of this away? How do we make people? How do we make anybody in the tech world hate us?
So if that's your company, if that's your business, you don't really care about like people. You just want to get the information across, right? And yes, I just said Best Buy doesn't care about people. It's true.
Best Buy doesn't give a shit about. Have you been in a Best Buy and tried to get like help from somebody in the past 10 years?
Yeah, I bought a TV there, and it was actually he gave me more help than I wanted, and I should have listened to him. I'll be honest. I thought I knew what I wanted, and he was like, "Why are you buying that when you could just get this?" And I was like, "But that doesn't have this." And he's like, "Yeah, it's software now. It's just built it in." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh God. So you fell into the trap of Best Buy guy knew better, but you still said screw it.
Oh, I still got what I wanted.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. So let's see here. There's also hold on. Let me make sure. I want to make sure that I tip these out. I feel like I forget sometimes. So there's this.
You never forget. We're on top of it. We always watch.
You've never forgotten anything.
Matter's down a little bit, so I'll tip 5 instead of 2. So let's see. And then there's this one, which I did tip. Awesome. And then there's Jacob Wayne. Oh, wait. There's Josh O, which, thank you. Tip for you, sir. And then it goes all the way to the top after you tip. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's not a great thing.
And then, okay, now, Jacob Wayne.
You already did that one.
That's
no, but I didn't vote it up.
Yeah,
377. All right. So Jacob Wayne. Can't really think of a question this time, but I do want to say thank you for letting me know. Oh, I was just talking about him again. About the other note. So yeah, Jacob was saying, thanks for letting me know about the V2 thing. I'm still a noob when it comes to Uniswap and liquidity. That's great. This is supposed to be Noobville. So you're right where you need to be.
Yeah, this was really nice too on the other note part.
Mm-hmm. I love when y'all surf Den and chat about posts. Good, because that's all we're doing today. My favorite part of the show.
It's a weird morning for most of us here, so we're just kind of doing our thing.
T-Swift or Die is making me want to draw again.
Why?
That's good work.
Because I'm setting the bar real low.
So what did you show?
Like if you could just put a couple circles near each other, you're going to be a great artist compared to me. I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad I'm an inspiration for those out there. It may not be in the best inspiration kind of way.
There's worse. Listen, I'm sure you inspire people in different ways. Your art's just one of your many inspirational talents.
I'm like Nickelback. I'm a piece of shit, but everybody knows they can do better, so they're not afraid to try.
But everybody likes that one song.
That doesn't help.
Oh God, no, that doesn't help at all. Actually, I can't think of a Nickelback song off the top of my head.
Look at this photograph.
Oh my God, look at this
is a picture of a photograph. I've got a photograph.
Speaking of inspiration,
photograph.
Does anybody want to see something that's? So I showed you something on Twitter that was inspirational. This is supposed to be the Den Show, right? I'm just going to show off other networks.
Okay, I'm supposed to be Nickelback for 45 minutes. I can do that.
Oh, please.
It's directly related though to what Jacob Wayne was saying and what John was saying. And it's a long story, but the it's not long. It's 3 paragraphs. But basically, what this is saying is if you're trying to do something and to be good at it, then you're not going to get the fulfillment out of it. You need to do it because you like it and that you're curious and not compare yourself to other people. That seems obvious, right?
Damn.
So yeah, the middle of it says, I think this is the meat of it. The middle of it says, he said something that I'll never forget, which absolutely blew my mind because no one had ever said anything like that to me before. I don't think being good at things is the point of doing them. I think you've got all these wonderful experiences with different skills, and that all teaches you things and makes you an interesting person, no matter how well you do them, right? So I thought that was interesting. Like winning is not always, we're taught to win. We're taught especially sports, and especially like competing, if you're in band and you're competing against other marching bands for something. It's always a contest. And I grew up that way, and it took me too long to realize that being good at them is not the point of doing them.
So I know. All right. So I get that, because I was thinking about this like this morning, actually, to a degree.
Really? This is fantastic. Good.
But like, I feel like having some kind of competitive, like, killer instinct kind of thing is gonna like push you farther in things you enjoy. You know what I mean? So like I oh yeah, I think I saw some meme thing about anime is what it was, and it was like fucking Naruto dude, like, I'm gonna be Hokage. The guy from Luffy from One Piece, like, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. And then it was just like a stupid little picture of a stick figure sitting there going, I'm gonna watch people chase their dreams. And like, all those people have to, like, they all have a passion for that thing, but they want to be the best at it too, which is what pushes them to be like,
yeah, that's true.
Have that be their career. All these things are his hobbies, right? But he's still out there to be like the best archaeologist.
Maybe. You know? And there's there's a lot of different types of people, and that's definitely I would say that's probably greater than 51% of the human race, right? That's why we have such a success rate in taking on that sort of mentality. But I was listening to Jack White recently. Was talking about the one time he met Prince, and he passed on something Prince said to him, and he said, "Don't ever let anyone tell you how to play your guitar." And I thought that was interesting, because they could be the same sort of sentiment of like, you're doing it wrong, right? If someone tells you you're doing it wrong, and maybe if you want to be the best, you want to do it right. And so if you always have people saying you're doing it wrong, or that's not the way it's supposed to be done, that can be demoralizing, right? If you listen to them, that can be demoralizing. But you could come up with something really fucking weird, like a style that Jack White has, which is amazing and unique. You know what I mean?
But so here's the thing with because I've heard this argument before a lot.
Have you? Okay, good.
I've thought about this a lot. And the thing is you have to learn all the other stuff so you can like develop your own style and your own taste. Like, you have to learn and understand what's out there now. Like, you have to know the past in order for you to discover, like, create your own version of something. Yeah, Jack White didn't just pick up a guitar, hit it a bunch, and go, I figured out my style. He learned other people's styles. He learned just different like chords, and he learned different scales and stuff like that, to then go, okay, this is the unique thing I can do, and this is my style. Like, same thing with cooking.
That's a good point. Yeah, because he's not, but then he's not like Jack White is not the best guitarist, right? But he's probably the best at his type of guitarist, what he does, right? If your type of guitarist is to like press vinyl records and use old equipment to make it sound a certain way that's like technically unclean, but also artistically interesting and new. I don't know. I think that there's a lot to what you're saying. I personally feel intimidated by my peers. I'll say that.
Well, like I'm saying, like, he is the best at what he's doing there, but like he had to learn like Twinkle Twinkle, Had a Little Lamb and shit. You know,
mm-hmm.
He had to learn.
Yeah, that's a great song. I love that. That's my jam. Twinkle Twinkle Little Lamb.
I love mixing.
I love to eat some ham
things together. But yeah, like he had to learn like he had to start from basics. He had to learn like Ode to Joy, like that song everybody fucking starts with. He had to learn Stairway to Heaven just like everybody else, and then he figured out how to make it his own. Like, if you think about cooking, like, nobody goes out there and just throws some shit together and makes some dank food. Like,
is that why I'm a bad cook?
Well, like, it's not like you're probably a good cook, but if you want to take it to the next level, like, you have to learn the techniques to get there. It could happen by luck, which is just, but that's going to require you like your 100,000 hours instead of your 10,000 hours, is all it is. So like, It's why you learn cover songs. You don't just write your own songs when you start. You can, but then like you're gonna get stuck.
Right. That makes sense, because I remember speaking of guitarists again, one of my brothers is one of my favorite guitarists. If he lets himself do that, sometimes he keeps himself constrained because he feels like, the crowd wants to hear a certain thing if he's playing for people or whatever. But dude I remember I was in the Navy. I would come home from leave and my little brother was learning guitar, and then I would come home from leave the next year, right? It'd be like years in between sometimes. And then he'd have like all these songs down pat. And I remember bragging about him to my shipmates when I went back, like, dude, my brother is kicking ass at guitar. I just got home from leave and I was just like, I would throw songs at him, or I would throw artists at him, dude, play some AC/DC, and then, oh, dude, play some Ozzy. And then, like, whatever I'd throw at him, he'd be like, oh yeah, I can play that. And I was like, dude, he can play anything. It's awesome. But at that time, he was very specifically learning all these different things that everyone else did to see how they did it. You know what I mean? You're right. Yeah. So he had all of this base knowledge of how music has been done up to now. And then he formed a jam band and improvised a lot of shit for the rest of his life, and it turned amazing. So yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right on that. I know I have a habit of ignoring expert advice because I'm like, I just want to see if I can come to the same conclusion myself. I'm also mentally ill, so maybe that's not the best measure of how to go about doing things. So yeah, good point.
Come on, get down with the sickness, man.
Yeah, I will say that it did help me think about that intimidation factor of mine. I used to not. First couple of times I did this internet show thing, I would have to go take a shower afterwards because I was sweating bullets and was like afraid of not doing it right. And over time, I had to teach myself to not be afraid of not doing it right. And it's funny, one of the things that triggered that for me was a bench at a park. And it had something on the back of it. It said, if you're afraid of embarrassing yourself, you will never achieve anything great in this life. Yeah. And I was like, fuck you, old dude that died and put his name on the bench with a quote. That's amazing.
Damn you for actually doing your intended thing.
There's so many quotes like that. And so, like, first of all, with that, as like a person who, like, I perform for, like, not a living yet, but that's what I want to do. And, like, you're not unique. That's how everybody goes with the stage. I don't want to say that differently.
That's the stages you go through.
Everybody, first time
I might be special that it took until my mid-30s to figure that shit out.
Well, that's just because you probably didn't spend as much time on stage as like the kid who had a piano recital every Tuesday. Everybody's just like, I was constantly, like, growing up, like, I was constantly playing sports. I was constantly on stage. My dad videotaped everything that ever happened in my life. So, like, I was much more used to that than, like, other people. Like, I'm like, how are you scared of this? Like, what are you talking about? And then I have to remember, they're like, they did a lot of other things. Like, they went to college, this person, like, I've taken, like, improv classes and, like, stage classes with people that are just, like, amazing people in their career, but have horrible stage fright and stuff like that. And it's just a different skill. So, like, thinking that you can walk out onto stage or turn your camera on and be instantly amazing and not have stage fright is ludicrous.
It's unreasonable.
And then also,
you might be a psychopath if you pull that off.
Here's even the more fun part. I've had this conversation on a stage or with people a lot. So this is essentially like a rehearsed speech.
Oh, okay.
This is like really. This is better than standard.
He's got solid opinions here.
Like, I've had these same thoughts. I've made these same arguments like probably 100 times to people, talking, like, just one-on-one, talking to them about their, like, stage fright or whatever it is. And, like, why am I not getting this? It's because you haven't freaking done it. Like, it's like, I've been where you were. Like, I've like done a show and then had nightmares for the next 6 months about the one show and the one scene I did for 3 minutes to 20 people that I'm never gonna see again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know how to say this. You're not special. we honestly,
I have
to varying degrees.
Say one stupid thing and you remember that stupid thing you said or did for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Overall, like
every time you think of it, you punish yourself.
Oh yeah.
Overall, I have terrible stage fright. Like this is not the normal kind of thing I do. The only reason I'm okay at this kind of stuff is because me and, funnily enough, Dom, who's in the comments, did a radio show a long time ago. It was like an online radio show. And that's the only reason I was like, oh, Dave wants me to do a live show. That's cool. But if we were out doing the thing that John does, like, or on the 19th, standing on a stage and speaking to one human being in a chair, not happening. Not a chance in hell. I just can't. It's just, if I clam up, I just like, I couldn't read papers in high school in front of my class at all. I would be like, oh, I have to present this. Well, I guess I'm flunking this. Yeah,
I definitely left I was in it was a community college, and I was taking a public speaking class because I thought it would help me be a better band manager.
Oh God!
And I did about half of it and never went back.
Nope.
I took a college level public speaking class when I was 17 because I dual enrolled. Had the time of my life. Did a speech on why there should be why they should allow steroids in baseball, because you had to it was very fun. I think what it was is like you had to kind of take you couldn't take a common point of view, and it was based off of a Den.Social stand-up piece about how they should allow steroids in baseball, and celebrating in the NFL and all this stuff.
It's just technology.
On a side note, I remember
super soldiers.
There was one girl in the class. I don't think she finished the class. Who pitched her idea, because we had to do a 30-second pitch of her idea. And hers is on why you should let your man cheat. And it was just it was just he's gonna cheat anyway. Might as well just let him do it. It's cool. Don't get mad about it. And I was just like, I'm 17. You're stupid. It was very fun.
That's wild.
Holy shit!
To go.
You weren't the only one that had a controversial speech. Then it sounds like.
Well, mine was very tongue in cheek a little bit. It was.
Oh, she wasn't tongue in cheek at all.
Hers was just dead serious.
She was this is real.
This is my belief.
Just let them go for it, man. They'll just.
This is 07.
Well, people have open relationships all the time. That's relatively common.
I think this was 08, and she looks at him and is like, "Hey, Mr. I forget his name, Mr. Smith. I know you cheat. I know you're gonna cheat. I know you cheat." And he was just like, "No, this man didn't own a cell phone. He wouldn't he was 30. He's like, I will not own a cell phone. I don't want it. I have a landline. I'm never gonna own a cell
good.
Phone. Yeah. And I've got a fucking cell phone, texting people in class. This
would be an interesting.
I'm hiding and I'm gonna play chess by myself the rest of my life kind of guy. And she's up there yelling at him about how he's gonna cheat. It was very fun.
Yeah, she has a very specific idea of what all men are like.
Well,
a lot of people have that concept.
On a different side note, let's look at that for just a second. All right, this is not my personal opinion. All right, I don't cheat on my wife. I love my wife very much, but from an evolutionary standpoint, and I think one of the reasons that people that you were mentioning open relationships being a way more common thing, or at least openly talked about way more common these days than they were before. For the longest time, human beings, it was just breed with as many things as you can to survive, just like every other animal on the planet. So the aspect of having one mate for your entire life as a human being is still relatively recent. So I'm wondering if open relationships, is it a new thing, or is it just a rollback into older things?
Well, it definitely used to be accepted that if your husband was going to go off and fight a battle or something, he's probably going to rape and pillage while he's there.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I can see your point a little bit. I wonder, you know what? Yeah, what makes sense to me is needing more farm hands, but you don't have any people around. So you're like, I guess we should make some people to work this farm.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely like, I think there's a lot of aspects to it. One, it's kind of like, it's not like, if you think about like, all right, I don't want to go there, but it's more like we're more willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like dudes were fucking around and wives were fucking around, but like nobody, we just weren't talking about it. Now it's like, hey, we're gonna talk about our feelings and emotions and be open about it. I don't think polyamory is sneaking into every household in America.
No, me either. I think you're exactly right. What you said is people are more willing to talk about it, so it seems like it's becoming more common. You're hearing more.
It seems like a more common thing, but
more common in your life because you're not in an open relationship, and suddenly you're hearing about it because people are talking about it more. I think you're right on that. Yeah. Now, it may also lead to it being more common because if you talk about and normalize something openly, people that would gravitate towards that lifestyle in the first place, but were socially too awkward or afraid to do that because they felt they were isolated and alone, might actually go do that because they're like, oh, it's more common than I thought. So maybe both things are happening.
I also think because of contraception and like birth control, like you can do that without then making an entire other family.
Without creating a whole separate family. Yeah, like, I kind of like the lady down the street, but son of a bitch.
Yeah. You know, like you could, and also like the amount of people like that are trying not to have children and things like that.
Screw
like
that. No kids.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like it's just society's changing and evolving. Get with it, old people. I don't know how to say it
too many humans.
But yeah, all right.
Well, that segued into some wild shit this morning.
So one of my favorite quotes that I heard recently, that I remembered recently, I think it was Winston Churchill, and it was, I think it was like, success is failing over and over without losing enthusiasm.
Yep, that's Churchill.
And I like that one because like.
Yeah,
you know, he invented the romper.
Why?
He's a gorgeous man. He should, you know.
No, first of all, rompers are the worst invention in human history.
I think they're cute as shit. I don't know.
No,
right? I have to look it up now.
I'm starting to come back to the idea of maybe they might be cute. I know Jackie owns one and it looks good, but anything that you have to get naked to pee in doesn't make sense. Okay. And when I worked at Sandy's,
as a man,
not as a man. No, when I worked at Sandy's, we couldn't keep these damn things in stock. People would come up and literally say, like, would you have any rompers? And it's like, well, we had a whole section, but it was ravaged by college girls. It was terrifying. They go crazy for them for some reason.
I don't know. I think they're fine.
So that's a romper?
That's a man's romper.
It's just a jumpsuit with
an example of kind of a cute one is like maybe all right. Move your mouse to the right. Move to the right.
First click on that one. Clicking on the
click on that one. Yeah. Okay. So that's an example of kind of a cute romper. Okay,
that's
like that I can get behind. Now that's a romper.
How's that a not romper?
Shorts on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's got shorts down to her belly button.
I've seen worse. We live in Gainesville, man. That one's kind of cute, the one you just put your finger on top of.
So rompers is a one-piece thing, basically, and it's not a dress because
maybe I don't hate rompers.
So that's all it is. It's basically a dress that's sewed in the middle.
Yeah, it's a dress that's all together. You literally have to get naked.
Overalls as a dress is all it is.
Okay.
Okay, Dave, I could kind of see you doing that.
See, this is not a romper. Come on.
No, that's a romper. No, that's more like that's like a cocktail dress. Genuinely.
Yeah, it's not a dress because it's got pants, dude.
That's cute as shit.
It's got legs.
All right. Well, we learned what rompers are. That's good.
And I learned that I don't hate rompers all of a sudden. Huh.
Oh, I love this tattoo.
Me too. I love hula hoopers.
It's a basketball tattoo.
Believe in you, Sal.
I'm more of I got the tie-dye shirt on, so I'm thinking of all the hoopers at the shows and stuff. Concerts.
I thought it was like basketball.
Believe in yourself and you never lose hoop.
Yeah. How about this?
It is my life.
John Bovey.
Good old John Bovey.
Yeah. That's got to be a joke. There's no way that was real when they put it.
I have seen some drunk people, man.
Why would you take a picture of it and show it off if it wasn't? It's awesome.
Because it's hilarious in the morning.
It's some inside joke they had. Like,
you guys want to segue into this segment where we just look and see what's hot on the layers?
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at this point.
Awesome.
Why the hell is that still a picture of people and not?
Oh, it's going to be forever now.
Oh,
until it can be changed. We can do a DAO vote to change it or whatever. But
I'm going to make a proposal somewhere to change that goddamn button.
I mean, you have to make a proposal. Let's take 2 minutes and explain how you don't like something on Den and you want to change it.
Get on a coffee show and complain about it.
There's that, yeah.
And then nothing will happen.
And never have anything happen and be mad about it.
Coffee show and complain about it. There's a coin toss chance that something will happen.
That's true.
If you get on the Den DAO call on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, you've got way more of a chance because that's literally a meeting for changing things on Den and developing and things like that.
Wait, hold on. I could have been going on that show this entire time and complaining.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh shit.
Move to vote to ban John from the show before he can even start.
What was I
the
about?
amount of damages.
So there's a procedure since the Den DAO is controlling the actual app, the Den system itself, the platform. To propose something, you need one of these lot, right? So any of these people can propose and vote on Den DAO issues. That'll expand. Like I said, we have a system ready to go once we're feature complete enough to onboard creators who have existing followers and stuff like that, like YouTubers and stuff. But right now, this is the Den DAO proposal avenue. You have to talk to one of these people and say, hey, can you open a proposal to change this? Because I don't like it. And if they agree that, you're not alone and it's not an edge case and it's worth putting development time into, even though we're working on something different right now, then we will propose it and people can vote on it. And there you go. So that's how you do it. But right now, actually always probably, the Den DAO lot is what's required to propose something. Now to vote on it, you don't have to have anything. You can just be a member of the community. You can be a denizen with any amount of matter in your wallet, and you will have some behavioral vote as well.
A member of the community.
Yeah. Can you post in the layer?
I don't think so. Maybe. So far, I've seen only, maybe not. It could be closed. Oh, no, here's Crypto Curious. Are you one of them? Let's see.
I think they were.
Nope. So, yeah, looks like you can post in there. So, yeah, you can. This is for a discussion of Den DAO stuff, which is site-wide. Not for a particular layer, but for the actual platform itself. So, it looks like you can post in there. Yep. Like, for example, Angel Breaker brought up a good point and made a post about it. And so did Crypto Curious. So yeah, you can do that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like this was directed at me and I haven't read it yet. I should definitely catch up on that. My bad. This is why we need DMs, right? Wow. All right. So I was saying,
just go find him in lair chat in Gainesville.
Yep.
Speaking of which, Gainesville was the 20th highest growing lair.
Oh, good.
Those metrics.
Go us, man.
May the 4th be with everybody.
Yeah.
That's not a meme.
No.
It's literally, isn't that just like I'm gonna be honest, still don't know what a meme is.
So memes have different opinions on what makes a meme, I guess. It is a graphic that says a thing and has a play on words. So this is a play on words, probably not a meme, right? I'm gonna let it go because it's May the 4th. I'm just not gonna vote on it because I don't think I have any ownership in this, and it's not my place to determine. I don't know. Yeah, that's a lame excuse. I just don't know if it's a meme or not, so I won't vote. So let's go to the next most.
It's a meme.
The power of lightning. Oh, this is fantastic.
I like this one.
You guys probably don't get it, but it's fantastic. So.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Oh yeah, explain it, John.
Yeah, that's Bitcoin. Okay, and it's doing the lightning on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure people, which are Visa and MasterCard. Okay, and they're standing on a pier, and they get struck by lightning, and somehow there's like little grass spots on the pier, which makes no sense. But Bitcoin is like, blah, killing them.
Yeah, that you got it, man. You actually do. You get it. You get it, because the other part of it is that Bitcoin has this second layer solution to make it scalable, cheaper to use, more instant transactions, something that can scale up to enterprise use potentially, right? And so it is a Visa MasterCard killer. And that side network is called the Lightning Network.
Oh, that's the Lightning Network.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I've seen that for a while.
Bitcoin's killing them with lightning, exactly
now
like you said.
Now I'm really curious as to why there's grass there.
Oh, probably because there's grass. Wherever they took the picture has grass. Maybe it's a golfing driving range into the ocean where they just
I think it's just pee pads for dogs.
Could be pee pads for dogs.
If you have pee pads for dogs on your pier next to the ocean,
then you're probably on one of those like sandals resorts that have the pier out into the ocean, and then you have your room.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is
and
not
if it's big grass. You can just come and spray it with a hose, and it washes the pee down into the fish, and it's fine.
That can't be like tee pads for golf, because you'd hit the person behind you. That's not enough room to swing a club.
No, you're seeing people pointing out at the ocean, though. You just lose the balls. You don't get them back.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying when you swing your club back, if you've got like anything that's not like a sand wedge, it's going to fucking hit the person behind you. Because that's not a lot of room. Because if you think about it,
I feel like you can adequately swing a club without hitting a person.
And go down. Like, yeah, your heels when you line up for the ball are going to be like almost halfway across that wooden part.
Well, that's because this is for a left-handed and a right-handed person at the same time. You have to have a left-handed and a right-handed person.
It's a couple that are one is left-handed, one is right-handed, and they just love to golf.
Yeah, and that's a certain particular room you can get is the lefty-righty room. Right?
All right.
So, next meeting.
I'll be right back. Y'all continue on.
It's fine. So the nature has a meme about the origin.
I laughed so hard at this last night. It's not even funny, and I don't know why. I think it's because of the middle one. He just looks like he's losing it.
This is pretty good. Just wraps the elephant in snakeskin, I guess, right? Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Well, all right. While Gravity Crab is gone, we got to do another bit.
Okay.
I haven't figured it out yet. Damn it. It'll come to me. We'll think of something.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Oh, here's one about Democrats. I'm sure that's great. Let's see. Okay. It's a little funny. It's it's all the different news agencies holding up the DNC, propping it up. Let's see here. So this is a meme. I would say this is a meme definitely, because it is illustrating a point that is typically dismissed by a lot of people, or there's some sort of cultural barrier to entry or political bias that doesn't allow them to think about it. For example, if you are very left and determined to stay that way no matter what, just like some of the very right people that are determined to stay that way no matter what, you could replace these news agencies with the ones that support the right. But you definitely have alignment with networks that are basically just state-sponsored television now. And they're absolutely taking orders from politicians on what to say, what not to say. And if not the politicians themselves, it's the lobbyists who own both the media companies and the politicians who are telling the media companies what to say. And you can just, it's fucking obvious, and it's a thing that people don't want to admit. But a meme can sometimes cut through that. So this would be an attempt to cut through that and say, look, a lot of what you're seeing on CNN, NBC, CBS is curated to make you think a certain way to influence what you say. And those agencies have actually said that themselves publicly. Like when they are talking about someone like Trump influencing people on Twitter and maybe changing the narrative to, make people think a certain way. And then they go on to say, but that's our job. And everyone in the room agrees with them. Yeah, that's our job. Right. So that shit goes on. And this is a meme because it's a little nugget into the rabbit hole if you want to. So that's what I think a good meme is.
I got it. I know what a meme is.
Okay. All right. Well, we were discussing before whether something was a meme or not. I just wanted to say, here's why.
I would not like the May the 4th thing. It looked like a flyer for an event. It didn't look like a meme based on the way the graphic and everything was done. Also, like, I'm sure at a certain point, a thing can like turn, like, to me, that looks like an ad for a thing. It doesn't look like a meme.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You convinced me. I'm going to do one downvote.
All right. I wouldn't downvote it just because it is May the 4th, and at least
but are you being objective, or are you just trying to be nice? Because sometimes when you're trying to be nice, you create a worse system.
No, I am saying what I'd like to see in this layer in the future.
Oh.
So I don't mind topical references if it doesn't strictly adhere to the meme definition.
Oh, okay. Well, here's another question. Would this belong anywhere in any other layer more appropriately?
Yeah, Star Wars.
You think? Is there a
Star Wars layer?
Is there a Star Wars layer?
There's a science fiction layer. There's a humor layer that, I don't know, I feel like that's closer to it.
There's not a science. There's two science layers. Science
there's a fiction layer too. Isn't there like a movie layer or some shit too?
Oh shit, you're right. That's where it should go.
Yeah, there's a million of them. Like, also, there's like board.
Yeah.
There's random, right? I think there's a random layer.
There is a random layer. Yep.
Yeah. All of those could absolutely work. This person the name is Troll Runner. They probably like memes and they like Star Wars. So they're like, oh, I want to tell my friends, which are in this layer, about Star Wars Day. You put funny, but not a meme, so fuck you. No.
And I'm going to say cross-posting this to the movies and TV shows layer because I think they'd like it there. So one of our features is like a built-in cross-posting thing, where anybody could come through and find something like this. It doesn't have to be the OP, and could say, oh, you know what? That probably either also belongs or better belongs in this other layer over here. Oh, Dom found us. That's good. And then I would bring you up right now, Dom, but I'm going to wait for a second and do a little demo on how to cross-post. So we don't have a built-in cross-posting feature. But the way that's going to look is it's going to actually incentivize people to come in and find something and say, oh, I want to put this in the appropriate layer. And then if it does well over there, that person gets paid out, gets payouts from it, right? So I'm going to do it for free. And I'm just going to add this comment real quick saying I'm doing it. And then the way that I like to do it is the way that we used to do it back when Reddit was okay. Before Reddit had built-in cross-posting. They had people would do this. They would go into, so they take the original, right? And then they would go in, they would get the hyperlink at the top. I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but you would just copy the link, or more profitably, hit the share button. Because if you hit the share button, anyone who clicks on that link gets attributed to you. And if it's ever a externally boosted post, that pays out. Quick note. So now I'm just going to I got to subscribe to the layer. This is something that we need to work on too. The last couple of people I talked to that were new to Den couldn't figure out why they couldn't post. If you hit subscribe to layer, you'll get a little button that shows up and now you can post. You have to be subscribed to be able to post. So boom, I'm going to hit that and I'm going to say X post, right? And that's letting people know this is not original. It's from somewhere else, and I'm cross-posting it here. And I'm going to say May the 4th. And I might just quickly say, found this in the memes layer, thought it would go well here. Enjoy. And instead of hitting like images and copying his image and posting it over here, I'm just going to highlight, found this in the memes layer, found this, and then I'll link to it, right? Make that a link, and then I'll publish it just like that. Then maybe I'll tag it, right?
That's cool.
Now, when someone sees it, when it pops up, if you sort by most recent, you'll see my most recent post, cross post May the 4th. And all I'm doing is I'm bringing attention to something in a different layer, so people can click through to it. And the original poster should get the attention, right? Because I didn't do it. But people in the layer, the owners of the layer especially, might see that I did something valuable and tip me out or vote me up. And in the future, the cross-posting thing would actually pay out. So that's that. I wanted to quickly do a cross-post demo, even though we don't have the feature yet. You can do that. And at this point, I want to bring my old friend Dom up, Pseudo-Chop.
I can't believe he actually figured it out.
That's fantastic. Good. All right, hold on a second. Add to stream. There you go.
Pseudo-Chop is still the name.
How's it going, Dom? Is Pseudo-Chop? Did you register that on Den? Is that your Denizen username?
It should be. I think that is what it is. It is Pseudo-Chop.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me drop this down real quick and bring up. Let's do the square grid. Yes.
Morning,
cool.
buddy.
How you doing? Welcome to the show. I'm glad you dropped in. I was wondering if I could ever get your attention and drag you into this mess.
I know. I'm usually painfully busy right now, but I have my AC guys are here, so I have some time to breathe. So I was checking it out. I saw you were live, so I had to see what was going on.
Yeah, we're
just
here
babbling about bullshit today.
Huh?
He said every Wednesday morning. I said we're just over here this morning babbling about pretty much nothing important.
Yeah, that's the show. It's coffee. It's wake up and have some. It's talk about Den. And we are at the point now where we've taken community feedback and talked about that. And now we're just looking to see what's cool on Den.
Yeah. Long time no see there.
That's awesome. I love it.
Wait.
Definitely. Yeah, usually in the morning I just listen to some type of podcast to keep me company. Like I'm just alone here. Look at that. I got a bookcase now. I just moved back in like February, so I'm like building everything.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're back in town.
Where'd you move back from?
North Carolina. I was there for 4 years.
Oh, cool. I like North Carolina. What part of North Carolina?
Pinehurst.
All right. I don't know where that's at. Sounds great.
It's like an hour away from Raleigh. Yeah, I'm definitely looking into the crypto stuff a little bit more. I had a friend that put me onto some NFTs and weird currencies and things like that. I've lost
horse racing.
The horse racing. I've been racing horses.
Oh yeah, there's the one where you can like breed them and like stud them out to other people that have different horses with traits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've seen that one. I've looked into that one a little bit for some reason.
Was it Zen? Something?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But I've lost a lot of money so far. Probably quite a few dollars. So definitely looking at new stuff.
That's a great example and a great learning experience because I think it's probably a good game. But it's one of those things when somebody asks me, how do I look for an NFT that I can make money on? Or what do I look for if I'm seeing like a play to earn game or something like that, right? And usually the first thing I tell people is to stay away from the ones that have a cost of entry, right? Because the odds of it being a pyramid scheme are dramatically reduced if you don't put any money into it.
Yeah, I was trying to explain to my friend here because he was getting me into a club. It's called like the Crypto Hans Club or whatever it is. And you buy these horses and there's like 6,000 minted and then you get more. And then there's, and then they keep on staggering up prices like once every other week. And I'm like, and I bought into it. And then he wants me to get into another one. And I'm like, there's no way that they can capitalize on a monthly subscription for something you paid for once because the money somebody has to be losing money.
Yeah,
that's
totally
how it works. Like
so that's not always how it works though, because you have this real quick, like I know we talk about Den all the time, that's what the show's about, but real quick example with Den is sometimes I'll explain Den to people that are like, for example, video games, right? You're familiar with them. You can think of Den.Social as a free-to-play and a play-to-earn video game. That's really like fundamentally kind of how it's designed. Because in a video game, you have all of these incentives to do different things. If you do this, you can learn a skill and get a better sword, and then you can sell that sword for these fake coins, and you can use those fake coins to buy potions. So you know what I mean, that kind of thing. And so you have all these incentives that are like, okay, we're going to make it cool to do that, and we're going to make it shitty to do this. So players will typically do that, which is what we want, because that'll progress the storyline or whatever. So if you do that on a social publishing platform, and then all of those assets are actual, tangible, real assets, like NFTs or tokens on a public blockchain, where you can not only have them in the game, but then remove them from the game and take them elsewhere. And maybe you can use them in a different game, or maybe you can sell them to somebody on eBay, like they used to do WoW accounts. You know what I mean? It just makes that easier. People are going to do it anyway. You're going to sell in-game currency. You're going to buy WoW gold. You're going to, like, this shit's going to happen. So instead of making it something that is fringe and only people who are violating terms of service can do it, and, you know, why don't you just incentivize a very good system of doing that natively? And so Den has a whole bunch of like rules, right? Where if you do certain things, you get certain rewards. And if you just do all the things that are incentivized, you don't have to do all of them. You can pick a role, right? There's like 4 different roles you can do. And if you do the actions that are incentivized, you get paid, literally. And so with that, you don't have to have anybody losing money to make money, because literally we mint on Ethereum 1,000 tokens a day, right? And then we distribute those in Den across everyone who's used Den that day based on all the votes and everything. So those 1,000 tokens get filtered down into however everybody acted. It's a behavioral, you know, reward system. And so over time you build up these matter tokens, right? And you can, the second key is the way that you do something that's both free to play and also play to earn without having to make someone lose money for somebody else to get money is the really like the magic missing piece to all of this crypto industry stuff that will get there eventually, is simply utility. It's simply incentive and utility. If you have anything that you can do with that token besides just sell it, then you have a built-in utility and an incentive to buy that token from someone who's selling it, right? So what I mean by that is, with matter tokens, the more than you have, the more you can participate in the system, right? You have everything you do cost you a little bit. So you don't spend your matter, you spend something that your matter creates. So holding the matter tokens creates this energy token. And you spend that energy on everything you do, right? And when it runs out, it refills the next day based on how much matter you have. So there's a utility, a reason to have matter. So if somebody wants to come in and do something on Den, but they don't want to spend a month building up the amount of matter they need to be able to like talk a lot, you know, to spend the energy to post a picture, to post a video, everything costs a different amount of energy, then they can just go buy that from another denizen who has it, right? And then bring it into Den. It's on the open market. And so that's how we can mine cryptocurrency with just meat space, no, like not a machine that you plug into the wall to mine Bitcoin or whatever. We use basically the system is just humans mining matter in each layer, and everyone's behavior is anonymously on chain, and we can assign rewards to that behavior. So yeah, and there's a bunch of different stuff you can do with matter. So I think that the utility aspect, find something that you can do something with the token besides just sell it. Because if all you can do is sell it, then why are you using cryptocurrency at all? And why aren't you just using dollars? You know, it's the same thing. Use something new that has a use case, you know, besides just money. So there's my pitch on how to not get fucked on NFT scams.
These NFTs are fucking me. So if I went on the NFT, Den here, which I found, or layer,
yeah,
and I wrote an extensive report of how I got.
Oh, really? Let's go look at it.
No, I haven't. No, I'm saying if I did that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you would gain some good response to that, I would assume.
Yep. Okay. I would recommend that. Go to NFT, hey, I'm trying out this NFT thing. Here's what I found. Here's what I've tried. Here's what I bought. Here's what I lost. What did I do wrong? I thought I was supposed to be rich by now. And then see what people say.
If you ever write a book, can that be the title? What did I do wrong? I thought I was supposed to be rich by now.
I ask myself that frequently.
Oh, you hush.
Speaking of Den, did you know layer proposals are open?
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Let us go see what layer proposals we have. Anything good?
There's one so far, Dendroid.
Oh yeah, I saw the Dendroid thing. I thought it was a Fallout thing because it's a little vault.
Oh yeah, it's almost like a vault thing.
Yeah, I'm sad that it's not a Fallout thing, but it's
I can see it. A place that pushes the boundaries of what's possible, where Android lovers have their space. This would be cool because then we could do guides on how to I got a OnePlus 6, and something I want to do is I want to wipe it and put Pine OS on it, or de-Google your phone.
Can you do that with a OnePlus?
Specifically with the 6 or the 6T, yes.
Okay.
So right now the Pine phone is sold out, I think, or maybe pre-order only, or the Pine phone Pro maybe is the only cool one that's sold out.
Isn't it also really low spec as well?
No, it's good.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's lower spec than like a $1,500 phone,
right?
But like at that point, go buy a car. I don't know.
Go buy a car at that point. I kind of want a Pine phone now.
Yeah, so this will be a good layer. And as a reminder, layers are only created once a month. There's not like anybody can go spin one up. There's a contest. You can either buy one, like straight up, and be like, I want my layer to be like this because I want to do it this way specifically, and I'm just going to pay for a layer and we'll open it. Or you can propose a layer like this, which is free, and people can vote on it. And every month, some of the top ones get created. So we have new layers every month, depending on this little contest over here called LCP. And so that's a good point, actually, real quick. We're going to
the layer creation pool.
We're going to pick. Last time we dug down and chose some. It was actually 8 and 13 at the time, but there was a little numerical problem we had. But this time we're going to do number 3 and 5. So if it were right now, it would be Japan. Let's say that like voting ended in 1 month from now or something on all these. We would get Japan, and we would get eroticism, and then eroticism.
Oh my God, Linux! Come on, it's
eroticism would be on the back burner because we can't do that until we have some more tools to appropriately moderate that that type of content.
Yeah, that might be difficult.
And then by unique voters in that category, the number 1 by unique voters will go in. So at this point, it'll be India or Japan or firearms, whatever. So anyway, if you don't see one in the list that you want, you can propose it in the LCP layer.
Can you explain to me again why it's arbitrarily random numbers that are choosing
what? Yes, I can.
Because I still, to this day, see that is not making a lick of sense. But
I'll show you right now. Really, really easy. If you go into something like, where's Elon Musk? Where's he? Find Elon.
Probably at the headquarters for Twitter.
So Elon Musk.
What the hell is that?
Oh, it's a Merlin thing.
I don't like that at all.
I do. I think putting chips in your head is just fine.
Oh my God.
Maybe we have a difference of opinion. All right. So all of these people voted during the LCP on the Elon layer, and they all got a percentage of ownership of that layer, which comes with passive income. So the better the layer does, holding this NFT literally just gives you free matter. Not free. It's an incentive for managing it and making it a good place where people want to spend their time.
And just voting on it overall, like actually taking the time to go and vote on a layer and saying like, hey, I want this one, just thanks for that. Here's some free money.
Mm-hmm. So there are 9.5 million NFTs that correspond to ownership of the Elon Musk layer specifically, right? And so the way that works is 5% of all of the matter that any denizen, any user earns in specifically the Elon Musk layer gets distributed to all of the owners according to their owner percentage, right? So if you're somewhere in the middle and you've got like 20% of ownership, then you'll get 20% of the 5% daily that anyone earns inside the layer, right? So there's 9.5 million lot. And then let's go over here. I should have used a different example because I just thought of one. Space. Where's space?
Space.
There we go. You see these two? Science and space tech, and then science and tech. Science and space tech was made a long time ago. It's got 11 million NFTs to split, right? Now, that was because it was the top voted at the time. Of course, it had the most. Now, since we dug down to number 8 and 13, science and tech won, right? Arguably the same type of layer for the same type of content, right? However, look at the supply, 610,000 instead of 11 million. So this is a permanent locked supply. There will never, ever be more than 610,000 lot for the science and tech layer. So assuming the same, let's say the same exact content with the same exact score, the same people voted on it, just for like control group, you know what I mean? Both layers had the same performance on a particular piece of content. As an owner of this layer, you'll get paid out more in the passive rewards because that 5% is only being split among this many people with 610,000 lot instead of potentially 11 million lot and this many people, that kind of thing. So an individual, one single lot from the science and space tech layer is less valuable in theory than one from the other one because it has fewer total lot. And the reason for that is because we switched up the numbering. Instead of taking just the top ones, we kept seeing the same one was winning every fucking time.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right.
Same one's winning. So unique voters and lore, you get some to the top. Maybe number one, India. Let's say India has 69 unique voters, right? And the next one in line is Japan with 42. Well, it's obvious that that's going to win by most unique voters. So people who want lot are going to say, you know what, let me just throw my lore, my votes into that. And naturally, whatever that is becomes the first one in the next category. So you never get two layers created that way. Okay. So then we said, okay, let's dig deep and let's get some created that don't have so many voters. We went on down to 13, we were like, what's one that's like, like selfie, right? What if a layer all the way down here won, and there's only 7 owners with 100?
That's a good thought.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
So then you have a unique situation where you have a layer that's got fewer owners or a more limited supply of tokens, and they have their own economics based on that.
It's also a good way to get more unique layers that aren't just like the top thing that gets built on every single other platform.
I don't know if you remember this, but if you sort by unique voters, let me go all the way down to 8. 8. All right. How-to and tutorials. That's a great idea. Fantastic idea. That's a profitable idea. I can see why somebody would want that layer. Any layer proposal that has at least 8 unique voters can pay 2.5 thousand matter to get it created during each cycle, right? So it's possible. It's possible. You see these where it says you signaled 0? It's possible that some of these that I like might get created before I have a chance to put my votes into it. If I'm just looking at the top, I'm only voting up here because I don't care about the shit at the bottom. But the possibility that somebody might come in and say, ooh, tutorials, that actually, I can make a bunch of tutorials myself, and that will be interesting, And then somebody goes in and they pays the fee to create a how-to tutorial layer, and now there's only 8 people that own it.
Does the 2.5 matter amount change based on the price of matter? So like since matter is down right now, is it better to buy your own layer? Because
if you think about like all right, what is the so you can translate that to your local currency, right? Which it may be up or down based on whatever. The whole world is fucked right now, right? The ruble's going crazy. The euro is hanging on because they like need oil. The US dollar is no longer the world reserve currency anymore. So it's going way, way down in value rapidly. It's like 10% to 30% inflation, depending on who you ask. God. So yeah, depending on where you want to peg your value, you can translate it to that value. And if it's the US dollar, then yeah, right now, matter is what? You can check it out. Go out, leave Den, go to Etherscan, etherscan.io, and you can just look up our Den token. It's called MTR, and it has a little the little red atom symbol, and it's 20 cents right now. It's been as high as $1.30. I think I remember seeing it at $1.30. So in the event that you do want to snipe a layer that is down the list, then you can maybe, like, for example, right now Matter's 20 cents, right? And this is not financial advice in any way, and I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not saying anything as a suggestion, as, I don't know, entertainment purposes only. But conceptually, theoretically, if I wanted to buy that layer I was talking about, the tutorials layer, then I would have to know that I can't do that until this next LCP resolves and the winners are chosen. And then that's the point where you can say, all right, my layer didn't win, but I still want to create it for 2,500 matter, right? That is at the end of the month, like the last week of the month or something. So it's possible that between now and then, the price of matter goes back up. Nobody knows, right? But if you know you're going to spend it anyway, you could buy it now on Ethereum, and then you could bring it into Den, right? Go to your wallet button and hit transfer, connect your MetaMask, claim it, transfer it in, pay a stupid gas fee in Ether, but then you've got it. Because maybe the price goes up later, but if you've already got it now, you've got it at this price. So to you, it's way cheaper to do that than it would be then. So strategically, yeah, you could buy the dips so that you have more matter later whenever it's more difficult to obtain that matter. Because, like I said, there's only 1,000 per day, right, for 1,300 years or more. And that 1,000 per day goes out to everybody in the entire Den.Social platform, regardless of how many people there are. Whether there's 100 people on the platform or 10 million people on the platform, you're still splitting the same 1,000 matter per day among all those people. So it becomes more scarce over time, and it becomes more used because of the utility built in. Even if only 1% uses that, utility, as you scale up in user base, that 1% becomes more people, and there's more utility and more people that want it. So naturally, it would be harder to get, and that would reflect in the open market, right? That's how that's supposed to work. So I would say, yeah, I'm stacking matter. I have bought it on the open market a couple of times. I have transferred it out of Den, and I've sold a little bit just to make sure it all works, and then transferred the rest of it back in. Yeah, play around with that stuff and come up with your own strategies. It's really just a platform.
Well, yeah, what I was asking was just like, is the amount to buy a layer always going to be the same?
Yeah, it'll always be 2,500 until that changes. And if that changes, it'll be a Den.DAO vote. So let's say matter goes up to, just pick a number. Matter goes up, Elon Musk, he comes in, he's like, oh, Den's great. And everybody looks at it. And then like people are like, oh, they got this token, and people buy it and the price goes up. Well, if the price goes up to like $5, just to say, throw a number out there, then yeah, 2,500 matter is a lot of money to spend. This happened with Decentraland. I bought the estate that we have for Den.Social on Decentraland when the mana token was like 30 cents, right? And a month after I did that or less, it went up to $5.
Oh my God.
Right? And then nobody changed the prices of the stuff. So now it's like $1 million to buy a piece of property on Decentraland. We could rebase the price. We could change, even like, if it's harder to get matter, then it would make sense that instead of 1-for-1 on energy, maybe it's 0.1 to 1, where you get way more energy per matter because now it's harder to get it or something. So yeah, there's all that stuff you can change to keep up with times. But for the foreseeable future, 2,500 is it. It's not changing based on the value of matter. It's just, that's the price.
Okay, cool.
It's cheaper if you're higher up. If you have the first 5 in a row by unique voters, you can get it. Let's say it's this. It would be India, Japan, eroticism, firearms, talent. It would be 200 matter, 4, 6, 8, 12, right? So if you're in the top 5 by, by unique voters, you can actually get it for cheaper based on how close you were to winning. Other than that, it's 2,500. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 10, whatever. And they go up by, I think maybe those numbers are wrong, but it hits a certain point, maybe 1,000, and then it goes from there. It goes to 2,500 for anything after that that's more than it's 8 or more unique users. So that's how all that works. I was mostly doing that for Dom, but then he left to work on his AC.
Yeah. What is? Okay, so wait, we have a Decentraland property.
Yeah. We have an estate.
Is it worth a shitload right now?
I mean, I could sell it, but I won't. I sold one recently because I needed some cash for a different project, and it was like, what did I sell? I'll find out. You know what? I don't know. It was less than market value, but I was able to sell it quickly for that price. And so, like, literally, it took me, I want to say it took me a day or less to sell a property on Decentraland, because I took less than what it was worth, but it was also like 3 times what I paid. So
Gotcha.
It was fine. Yeah, it just all depends.
Huh. No, so I'm just something I was thinking about on a completely different note. Ignore that.
Cool. All right. So where were we here? I'll bring Dom back off until he's back. Anybody seen something on Den recently? We did some Much Hot.
Other than the elephant meme. That's the only one I saw recently. I was looking through a little bit this morning, but I haven't looked a lot today.
Here's something in the NFT. Free NFT giveaway. Oh, Cuddles. I know this person. I mean, I know of this person. So sometimes you'll see like people giving away NFTs. That doesn't mean they're worth anything, right? But
they're
some
just
people
kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's cool. What else is going on here?
One thing I was going to say really quick, because I don't know if we touched on it, you should definitely talk about this coffee mug you're holding.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can make a post about it.
Or just hold it up.
No, don't hold it up. Keep everybody in suspense.
They've all seen it.
They don't remember. They forgot.
Scroll back to a little while ago in the video, and you'll see the coffee mug.
This is an awesome piece of news here if you're into crypto. Before I go to the mug, Stripe is, I guess, isn't that Jack Dorsey's company?
I know it uses payment. It's like a payment processing thing.
Looks like they might be using some crypto on the Ethereum blockchain via Polygon. So that'll be cool. It's cool. The resources in Den, if you search for them, are really valuable, because if you know ahead of time that this is going to happen, then you can potentially go grab some Polygon before the rest of the world finds out. And that's how traders make money. So I'll bump this up just for visibility a bit, give it a good old 610 there, and I'll vote on the tags. And we'll go look at our coffee mug after that.
Yeah, Stripe is Jack Dorsey, by the way.
Number go up is a good tag. Projection, NFT? No, this is not an NFT. This is USDC Web3. Cool. So coffee mug. Where's the button? Hey. So actually, you know what? Let me do this. Here's my coffee mug. Make me big. Boom. Sad face coffee mug, man. So I made this. We were at my wife and I went to a class. Let's put it right in front of my head so it matches.
It matches up so perfectly.
Yeah, and I'll put my beard under it so it looks like he was just talking there. That's great.
God.
So my wife and I went to a pottery class, and we paid this pottery person to teach us how to make mugs and how to make these ugly mugs. And so she made the cups, the bear cups for us, and then taught us how to use like clay and how to make faces and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to make a face that represents my inner dialogue. And I got funny looks because everybody else had crazy, happy, weird faces. And I was like, here's my bushy eyebrow, like sad face Dave cup. And I fucking love it.
Oh my God.
Fun fact, you've got one nostril, just one.
Just one nostril?
Just one hole, one big hole. So yeah, there's my ugly mug. I like it.
Gainesville?
This was in Gainesville. Yeah, I'm going to another one soon. I'll make another one.
All right, you got to tell me where it is because Dakota wants to do that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got a different face too. Where's your face, Steve Dave?
Oh God, I took a screenshot of the mug perfectly on your face, so I was doing that. Oh, my spare creature today, aside from a mug and your dog, is this pain in the ass. down here, who has decided she wants to come here. I discovered this is the thing that meows every damn day that we're on the show. And I discovered that this little chair has like a little fold out, and she just kind of lays on it now and hangs out with me.
How do you have both a cat and a lizard, and the lizard still lives?
Here's the thing. People ask me that. They're like, how do you have both a lizard and a cat? And basically they hang out with each other, which is the best way to put it. Emma here is not like, she's not the most keen with him. He sits over on his little hammock and they'll sit there and just stare at each other. But the other one, Bon, he'll like crawl up on top of Boniger and like lay on him to get warm. And Bon will just like sniff him and sometimes he'll try to every once in a while take a little nibble at his tail. But all in all, they kind of get along really well. It pays that I have the most docile lizard on the planet.
I used to have a leopard gecko named Lizzie, very original, in high school. My dad always joked about how delicious her tail looked because they had that big fat alligator tail. Yeah. He's like, those grow back, right?
Oh my God. I keep thinking about how I wouldn't mind having a gecko at some point, but that problem, the thing with their tails, they drop their tails if they you grab them wrong or if they get frightened really bad.
Yeah,
so that's the cool thing with beardies and why they why kids get them a lot. I guess the best way to put it is they're damn durable lizards. So they're one of the few lizards that don't drop their tail. I could pick him up by his tail, which I mean don't, but you could, and he's not going to sit there and break it off or anything. So which is good. I wonder what Arthur tastes like. I've actually Googled it a little bit to try and figure out if there's people out there that eat them, but I can't find any definitive anything. Every time I look it up, somebody just says this is what you should feed your bearded dragon, not what do they taste like.
If you think about the meat industry, it's pretty gruesome. And I just couldn't help thinking Dad, did you just solve world hunger and vegetarians' problems with eating meat?
Lizard tails?
Theoretically, you could just breed geckos and drop those fat tails, and it'd be a delicacy.
Iguanas. An iguana will drop their tail, and that's a huge tail.
Yeah, we just move on to lizard tails.
Listen, we've played Fallout, obviously, and how many times have we had, crispy iguana bits or Bob's iguana bites, which are people, side note, in Fallout 2, which is hilarious. But
so speaking of Fallout, what's your favorite Star Wars film?
Speaking of Fallout, my favorite Star Wars film, oh God. I want to say it's The Empire Strikes Back, but I really liked Return of the Jedi. It's been a long time, probably 10 years or so since I've seen Return of the Jedi. So it was great to sit there and watch it through all the way, especially since we started at the first crappy Star Wars movie and then went to the actual good ones.
Yeah, Return is good. I got confused by The Last Jedi. I saw a photo with a picture of Kylo Ren and stuff, and it said The Last Jedi, and my brain was like, that's not Return of the Jedi. Those people aren't in there. I just got the two titles mixed up.
It does actually look really similar, honestly, in terms of movie cover. Bon, do you want the window open?
It's cool. Both of you are wrong, so that's fine.
Oh, which one's yours?
Oh, it's Phantom Menace, obviously.
Honestly, I can kind of respect that, having seen it recently.
Who doesn't love little Annie? Okay,
I mean, Annie.
He thinks that a pretty lady is just a fucking angel. All right, he's so innocent.
Who is way too old for him?
He just jumps into a fucking starfighter thingy, right? And just takes out an entire fleet.
Pod racing was sweet, honestly, as well. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, the game that came out of that, the N64 pod racing game, was really, really good.
Oh my God, yes.
And we've got Liam Neeson's, as a Jedi. Who doesn't love, give me back my son. That's him, think about it. What's not perfect? We got Darth Maul. We have this giant antagonist who has 6 lines in the whole movie. Okay.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the film at all. Are
we not gonna say his name?
Who?
Listen, what the problem with that movie is.
We're talking about Jar Jar?
Yep.
That was next. Okay, first of all, people don't realize this. Jar Jar is actually a Sith.
He is a Sith Lord. Now that I've watched him all the way through, in the third one, when he literally gives Emperor Palpatine absolute power.
Yeah.
And he smiles evilly.
Yeah. Okay.
Jar
and
Jar's
also Name another creature that can jump as high in the air as he can and then dive into the ocean.
Well, that's like a Gungan thing.
No, it's not.
It is definitely a Gungan thing.
No other Gungan does that.
When they're they just get fat and sit on a chair and rule the rest of them that aren't fat enough to rule yet.
Yeah. If you go to the fight scene, right, when the Gungans are fighting the droid army that are attacking, like none of them are leaping through the air ninja style, killing people.
Well, it's true. Okay,
like, Jar Jar just pulls that shit out of his ass. Like,
I also want to point out that I was surprised when I watched it again recently that Phantom Menace, though it has its little bits and bobs that I thought were shit, the overall movie's pretty good. Like, it's not written like crap like most of the other ones. It's pretty good. Also, with Darth Maul, so we've all seen Solo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end, when Emilia Clarke, being hot as can be, is talking to the guy with the thingies, that's Darth Maul. How the hell did he survive getting chopped in half?
They explain it in like
it's this cartoon series thing, right?
I haven't seen any of the Clone Wars.
I haven't seen it either. I've been told really, really good things about it. Like, it's some of the best content in the entire franchise.
I've heard it's fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah, but I remember Darth Maul being on like one of the, it's like not a wheelchair, but wasn't he on like a spider base? Or am I thinking of Wild Wild West?
I'm thinking of Wild Wild West.
That sounds badass, though. Like a spider bot Darth Maul.
Put his body back together.
Okay.
Because of course they.
But like, all right, but think about it. All right, now think about this. Everybody that gets cut in half or falls off a bridge gets put back together. Darth Maul. Think about it. Palpatine. Think about it.
That's true. Palpy did get split.
Now think about this. Harrison Ford. Is he coming? Is Han Solo? Is Han Solo coming back?
He wanted them to chop his ass in half before the second movie even started.
He got stuck in the middle with the lightsaber.
Yeah, but he didn't get cut in half.
Palpatine wasn't cut in half. He was just thrown off the side.
Yeah. Okay.
I just find it hilarious that Harrison Ford hated that character literally from the end of the first film. He was just like, I hate this character. I want to be Indiana Jones more. And I watched an interview with him on Conan when the spoiler ban was lifted. And the only thing he could say, he was like, Harrison, what do you have to say about you dying in Star Wars? And he was like, I finally got them to kill me. I finally did it.
Finally got him to do
he
it.
was so happy about it. He was like, I never have to do it again. Also, the guy who played in the movie Solo, I'd never seen it before until we watched it here. And the guy that played in that was actually really good.
Yeah, I thought they butchered the movie, but it wasn't his fault.
Really?
It was a really good movie, yeah. I mean,
it was really fast-paced.
It was not the spin-offs. My favorite Star Wars movie, probably, and this is probably a hot take, but Rogue One. Rogue One's one of the best movies.
Absolutely. If nothing,
that's like the least hot take thing. I've like from everybody I've talked to, they all say.
If nothing, down to the pacing. The pacing
I've heard people
of the
say they
film
didn't
is
like it
almost
whenever
perfect.
it first came out, and I guess I haven't asked since.
It did exactly what a story movie needs to do. It had characters. We enjoyed those characters. It tied those characters up. And it also the casting for Rogue One was excellent. Alan Tudyk being the robot who literally, when he dies in that movie, I hadn't seen it since I saw it in theaters. When his robot dies in Rogue One, I got upset.
Yeah, I'll be right back 1 second.
Right, I need to grab my charger, but I'm not going to abandon you here. So
I did one thing I did like to about Solo was the meeting of Chewbacca and that whole thing.
Oh yeah, like the Beast.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, and then befriending the Beast, and then killing people with the Beast to escape or whatever.
Dude, like he makes a gurgle at him. It's like, yeah, I speak a little. Like it's the dude who plays him. I can't remember his name, but the guy that plays Han, his voice, he does the like Harrison Ford kind of grovel thing a couple of times, and he does really good at it. I also want to point out with Rogue One. Oh, sorry, I'm back in babble about this for hours, but with Rogue One, they also did some of the coolest CGI I've ever seen, which was the Carrie Fisher bit at the end where we have Princess Leia for a few seconds. But the guy that plays Grand Moff Tarkin, Peter Cushing, has been dead for a long time.
Yeah.
And I forgot until halfway through the film that he was dead. Like I was sitting there with Jackie and I poked her. I was like, honey, how the hell is he in this movie? And I looked at it again and I was like, that's not a real person. Like, this is a CGI human.
So that's something that's weird that Disney's doing since they bought Star Wars, is they are basically using rights to the actors, to the actor.
Which is strange, but I also think it's really well done. Hold that thought. I have to grab my charger if I'm going to stay here.
Sure, yeah. And while they're both gone, I'll just say it was interesting because they're not really, it's not really the actor that they have rights to, it's the character, right? And the character happens to look exactly like the actor because the actors who played the character. And so to recreate the character, you kind of have to recreate the actor, but not really. People do it all the time when they, like Iron Man, there was a different soldier dude, at some point. They switched actors. So I don't know if that was necessary or not. David, all I was just saying is like, on one hand, it would be necessary to recreate the actor if you're trying to recreate the character because that's who played the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then on the other hand, they change actors all the time for characters, like an Iron Man or something. There's different actor, same character.
Some characters, it's really difficult though. Like, think about like the guy who plays Grand Moff Tarkin. Like, you know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like think about his face.
Like, on the Death Star at the first, like,
he's holding Vader's leash. Yeah, literally, his face is just perfectly. It's just concaved in a way that I couldn't imagine them finding somebody who looked similar enough.
But then, if you're going to go through the CGI recreation anyway, why not make it just like him? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that
was the option. Hire somebody different,
because they also have the timeline too. Because like that's during, like that takes place before A New Hope, so he's got to be.
So there's something else. I didn't like his. I thought his animation was close. Maybe I was too sober while watching it, but I was like, that's too shiny. It's like when you play a video game and it's too shiny.
Now that I watched it again, it was a little shiny. I'll tell you. I'll give you that. But I still remember at the time being really impressed by it.
I was watching some reels that I don't know what it's for. It must be. Oh, I know what it's for. It's for fucking. What's the new one coming out? Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Oh yeah, the Obi-Wan movie, which we should go see.
The CGI in the Obi-Wan Kenobi looks fantastic. Luke looks fantastic. Little Luke looks great. He's a different actor, obviously. Adult Luke. I saw Luke whenever, I don't know where this must not have been. I don't know. I saw Luke, CGI Luke, in something where it was after, Dagobah system and stuff, but he was basically teaching the Jedi school the way that Yoda did as a Jedi Master.
He was in, it was like one of the TV series he was in for a very short stint.
Maybe, yeah. But anyway, I saw it recently, and there was some CGI where it looked good as shit, dude. Like, Luke looked good.
I've seen the Mark Hamill CGI. Is it the Obi-Wan movie? Is that going to be about, like, how Obi-Wan's whole purpose on that planet is to be watching over Luke, essentially?
Yep.
That's going to be sweet.
Yep. It's when Luke looks about, in the preview that I saw, he looks like he's, like, 8.
Actually, I haven't seen the trailer at all for
like
it or anything.
And, growing up with the blue milk and Uncle Owen and all that.
That's going to be so cool.
It's, apparently, it's like, oh, it's over. We lost. Jedi is over. Like, everything's ended. But then they're like, oh, wait, there's a chance. I'm going to go move to Tatooine and watch this kid grow up and make sure that we have a chance that he doesn't die. That kind of thing.
See, that's cool. Because like that's an area of the Star Wars timeline that doesn't get touched on a bunch, is like that gap there where the Empire is essentially taking over everything. Like Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that touches on it a little, but
and
not
then like
everybody's willing to sit there and play their Star Wars game.
Is it Tusken Raiders? The Sand People?
Yep, Tusken Raiders.
So then I think there's a like with Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. In Book of Boba, Boba goes and learns like with the Tusken Raiders, like
really
earns their trust, helps them solve problems to like yada yada. It's cool.
Oh, does it humanize the Tusken Raiders?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, okay, so I can feel worse when Anakin slaughters all of them.
Yes. Yep, and all the women and children too.
And the children too.
So yeah, I like Rogue One. You like what did you say? Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi's got it
like
for me.
Episode 1 the best. Phantom Menace was great. It was, when it came out, it was dramatically different, and I think that was the problem. You know,
it wasn't the one after that. I can't. What's the second one after that? Attack of the Clones or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
Revenge of the Sith.
Terrible name. Revenge of the Sith is the third one.
Oh,
Attack of the Clones is the first Star Wars movie or whatever, or it was one of the first films that was shot on digital as opposed to film as well. And like that was a huge deal when it came out. So the Star Wars movies have these. Unfortunately, the first three, like 1, 2, and 3, have this awful stain of being like this was the first new Star Wars movie. This was the first one shot on digital, and a lot of people didn't like that. And the third one just suffers from the writing that the third one has.
Yeah, I remember the complaints about the first one being like, how do they have better tech back then than they do in the original Star Wars movie?
Yeah, like what the hell? And also they have like, it's also, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Also visually, the original trilogy still looked better just in terms of like model work.
Yeah, models and things. Like they've gone back to models.
I think it's hilarious that none of us said 7, 8, or 9 as our favorite movies.
They're good. Right.
And also, I need to say for the record, my favorite movie is not Phantom Menace.
Oh, thank
God. That was my favorite Star Wars movie. Not favorite movie.
That. Oh. My favorite is definitely, it alternates between A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay.
It alternates between the three of those. Usually it's A New Hope or Return of the Jedi.
I mean, A New Hope is just so much fun because it's like a starting point.
Yeah, of the 9, I would say my favorite is probably Empire Strikes Back. But if we're doing the sequel, if we're doing the spin-offs and stuff, I would say Rogue One. But if we're doing just the main installments, the films, I would say probably Empire Strikes Back, personally. Now, let's stick to just the main 9. What is that? It's not a trilogy. It's a trilogy of trilogies.
Trilogy?
The first, the 3 sets of trilogies?
It's a trilogy.
It is a trilogy. I think that's officially how it is. It's a trilogy of trilogies.
Okay. So, what is, of those 9, what is your least favorite Star Wars film? John, go.
Either Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones was like, Anakin pissed me off in that one. He's just a whiny little bitch the whole movie.
He is such a bitch through the whole thing. It's awful.
Dude, shut up. You're Vader and Anakin. Why?
I just want to have sex with Padme. Like, that's his whole character. Like, he's just like, I love you. And he's overbearing and creepy, and it's terrible.
Yeah. So that's my problem with that movie in particular.
We've got 5 minutes left.
Oh, okay, great.
You guys want to see something cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna.
All right. While you're taking that second, what's your least favorite Gravity Crab?
I don't want to be the one that just says the freaking 9th one because everybody hated that film. And here's my problem with it, why I will not vote that one as a bad movie, because I don't remember it. So when I saw it in theaters, I went and saw it, okay, but I was with my friend Kat, and we got high as a kite, essentially. Like, I got high on something called Skywalker OG. I was like, this is perfect.
I have had that. Yeah,
it's great. I fell asleep. Yeah. I fell asleep in the theater. I woke up at some point. Palpatine was back. I was like, what the shit? And then I took a nap again. Jackie woke me up and was like, did you see any of that shit show? I was like, no, I saw nothing. So I've never actually seen that film all the way through.
You should go watch it. I think they actually tied up. Disney needed to tie up Star Wars in a way that they could then like enshrine it and try not to piss people off too much, but then also do things like other
cool stuff off of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and probably say I might go with Attack of the Clones solely because of whiny bitch Anakin as well. Because Revenge of the Sith has such a cool ending sequence that like that can't be a bad movie.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith I liked okay.
It also has that's one of the first times in the whole series that you get that really like like really upbeat, like flying around each other, like lightsaber battles on a lava planet. You know, Yoda fighting Palpy. Like it's just a good film at the end.
I think we're in agreement. We've reached consensus because mine's also episode 2.
Yeah, it just that one just blows.
All right,
what's John got here?
All right, so
moving on.
Speaking of
vaguely sexual,
whatever we were talking about there for a second, I was in New York recently, and had a great time. And one of the things we did was this weed dinner. It was a cannabis Michelin level. My wife and I we eat a lot of really like fancy food and shit.
Cool.
And this was a guy.
My wife and I are bougie.
We eat at a lot of nice places. And this was, you pay like whatever it is, and you go to this person's house is what it looks like. But really it was like this this weird it was like some people lived there, some people had like doctors' offices for like therapy and stuff like that.
Doesn't sound like a Michelin star or anything.
Well, this is in New York City.
The
right?
back. Okay, well that makes more sense.
So and then in one of them is this big kind of, it seats like 20 people maybe like 14 people, little like restaurant. And there's like all this decorations and stuff, and you sit down and you had a 7-course meal, all of them with weed in it. So this was the first thing we had.
You would need 7 if they're that size.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So this was the first one.
I don't know.
And they all had a wine pairing as well.
Oh god.
So you're like cross-faded, and we're all stoned, and I'm like, I'm so stoned. How is nobody else stoned? And we're just, and like, and then all of a sudden everybody else is like, I'm so stoned right now. I'm like, oh my god,
oh shit.
It was crazy. So this was like, I figured I'd share this really quick.
That looks
was
cool.
really kind of cool.
Is this like a caviar thing?
Yeah. So this is caviar on
top.
top.
I thought it was like blackberries.
That's definitely caviar. What is it? Is this like the thing that it's in? Is this part of the food or is it a dish?
It's part of the food.
Okay, so that's like
it's,
a crispy
it's kind of
thing.
like a really rough puff pastry.
Okay.
And
Good for
then
caviar.
it's got, I think this is like almost like a deviled egg foam thing on the side with caviar. And and then there's like a little like herb oil.
There's a piece of grass from the garden out there that looks like some shit we'd find in Florida outside. That little curly thing with
it's all edible. I think that's lavender. I
think you're right.
Like there's that's the lavender like stem, which is edible as well.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
So this is the second one. This is like kind of what the table looks like.
Is that like a little? Is that all like foamed up?
Yeah. So that's just like this weird foam, and then this is I forget what it's called, like lattice or something, but it's a cross between cucumber and lettuce.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it has
even.
A lot of foods do like a molecular thing these days. So there's this crazy food science with really high end stuff where you can take and like fuse shit essentially.
Yeah.
Look into that.
I have
like astronomy or something.
I have an invention based on that. My wife's a genetic engineer, I guess you could call it, and so I keep pitching her my my idea for a particular tomato.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't want to bombard your presentation here.
Oh, this is fantastic.
So it's all of that. It's like lettuce and it tastes like lettuce and cucumber mixed, but it's all cut and shaved that it's like linguine.
Oh, that's
so cool. Like you're eating it like it's linguine, and then this is I believe it's like salmon or tuna that's on top, like thinly sliced. So it's, and then it has like this herb oil, and all like the flowers are edible and everything. Super delicious. And it had like dill in it too. Really, really good.
The foam is what now?
The
you
what?
Said? Foam that you have there is what?
The foam?
Isn't that foam? Foaminess?
Yeah. It's I forget what like flavor it is, but it's this like really cool foam. Whenever you come over, I'll have to make you some because I got like the stuff to make this.
That's
okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Then this was really nice. This was a snap pea and scallop sashimi. With I think that was arugula. No, something with an S. I forget.
It looks like sprouts or arugula. Yeah. Probably just bean sprouts.
It looks like somebody threw a handful of grass at a plate.
So it was snap peas.
And all this was just cannabis infused?
Yeah, all of this is, and you can't taste the cannabis in any of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is disappointing. I wish I could have tasted it.
I wish I could get high from eating cannabis. I found out. I think I've talked to David about this, but he might have the same thing. But I know that I have most likely gotten. I'm missing an enzyme or whatever it's called that allows it to edibles to bind to fatty lipids, and so I can't process it very well.
Yeah, we should figure that out because that sucks. I can eat. You could give me the largest edible you can buy. I could eat it, and 20 minutes later, like 2 hours later, I'm on the couch, just like, all right, well, what a not as tasty as it could have been cookie that was.
What else you got, John?
Yeah, I had like these mints as well that we were walking around New York with, and you just pop like a weed mint, and it's great.
Weed mint.
Yeah. This was
some kind of fish.
Black sea bass with in a onion broth with like a crispy onion on top. So it would look like a piece of bacon that was on top of it in like French onion soup with this like delicious piece of sea bass. So yeah, when we were doing all these things,
sea bass is great.
We were like talking about like I like to like name dishes things they aren't. So to me, this was like
long answers only.
This was like an expensive deviled egg.
Okay.
This was like a crazy vegetarian like fettuccine Alfredo, because like the sauce also almost tasted like cheesy and Alfredo-y. This, I don't know. This was just an expensive like scallop.
It's a sushi salad.
It was a pricey scallop.
A very expensive salad. This was like French onion soup, and then we had this, which was like an expensive, which was like a really crazy like lobster.
Yeah, it's like either a bisque or like a squash soup or something. Yeah.
What kind of meat is that?
It had like, so that's lobster on top with I forget what the rest was. It's like some cream and then the outs like a lobster cream and a lobster cheese around it. So it was really good. But the cheese on the outside to me tasted almost like Velveeta.
Could have been.
So it was like it tasted like expensive,
overpriced food,
like lobster mac and cheese.
Ooh,
like
I can go for lobster mac.
That at Hell's Kitchen has a good seafood mac and cheese with like the crusted like crust on it or whatever on top, the crumbled crust.
Yeah,
that's cool. Oh,
I make a pretty good one too. Oh yeah, so this was
asparagus,
lamb with asparagus. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So this was just like your meat and potatoes kind of deal.
Lamb and mint sauce.
Oh, there was actually a potato like souffle, like a potato puree thing underneath this as well.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to digest it yourself.
Yeah, if you can see like the white part right here, it's a potato souffle in there too, in there as well.
What does souffle mean?
Not souffle. I'm sorry. A potato like whipped potato.
Mashed taters, man. That's just meat and potatoes.
In the fancy world, it is a potato puree.
It was delicious.
It's probably got some kind of truffle oils or whatever mixed in with it to be all lovely.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then this was our dessert, which was really weird. It's so this is egg that's on top.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, it's
really strawberry, I think.
Almost crispy pieces of egg. With like strawberries. I think there's like blackberries. That's popcorn on top, and then I think it was like a strawberry like custard underneath.
If they brought me that without the popcorn, I would feel like it was probably pretty good. But I think I'd be pissed about the popcorn.
The popcorn adds a little bit of sweetness and crunch, I guess. But then you said that
you're stoned as shit at this point. It probably doesn't
true.
matter.
Yeah, you don't care at this point, do you?
Oh, yeah,
this is actually probably. Remember Munchies 420?
Look at John. He's just like, oh god, what have I done?
That's my brother. Let's see what the next picture is before I share it. Okay, I think that's it.
Y'all are just like, oh god, what have we done?
Wow, they're a handsome guy.
Yeah, that's a stoner dessert at the end for sure.
Absolutely. I didn't even think about that. There's popcorn in there.
Yeah,
you look like you're just like making a connection with the food.
But yeah,
that's great.
They didn't like mention the weed at all, which I wish they did, because some people ordered it like had the infusion and some people didn't. So we're like just stoned out of our minds over on this table, and we don't know who else is high. We don't
like. There's other people in here who have also had the food, but they may or may not have it full of pot.
So all the food is not this way. So there were people that were not high. You just didn't know who they were.
Oh, that sounds like a fun place to be. That's where I am all the time. Like
it was really
public.
cool. But like we didn't even really think about that. That was funny. And then like the wine was actually like really delicious and paired nicely with it.
Cool. I would hope so.
Was it I'm assuming it was incredibly expensive.
It was and wasn't. It was expensive for like a meal, but like for what we got, it was a wine pairing with cannabis. These are all like pretty high grade,
pretty pricey stuff to begin with.
Ingredients too. Yeah. Like black sea bass or whatever it is. Lamb. The caviar is very expensive.
That was a lot of caviar too. Side note.
Yeah, it was a lot of caviar. Also, it was very small seating. So normally, like the less room there is in a venue, the more expensive it is because they have more exclusivity. It was very small.
So they got to charge enough.
Yeah, we got to like the chef came out and like talked to us. It was a very like personal experience. It was like $250 a person.
That's not okay.
That is a high price, fancy price dinner. But think about people blow $200 on too. You know what I mean?
Like, with the wine pairing as well. Like we went to this 3 Michelin star restaurant there, and in New York, and it was $250 for the wine pairing. Now that is like
I am. Gotta bring this
up. That's a lot of money for a wine pairing.
The cost per ounce. I've been playing Fallout New Vegas recently again, and one of the mods I have is I have a whole mod list, and one of them gives you the weight per, what is it? The ratio of price per weight. So you can only carry around the stuff that's valuable enough per
useful
pound.
UI thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Did you just do the Viva New Vegas? Just that was all your entire mod list?
Viva New Vegas, and do that through Wabajack, and do it in a folder that's on your C drive and not in your program's files folder. So it doesn't.
That I know.
But yeah, it's a 2012. It's a 2022 game now. There's hold shift to sprint. There is like stuff that just wasn't available before that you would expect in a modern game, playability and controls wise.
My issue is like I have to add little things that give me little like stuff because I have like a huge mod list and everything, but I end up like building the game out to be perfect, but there's always something fucked up about it, and I don't want to deal with that again. I'd rather just play through the damn game without trying to make it something different.
Dude, I haven't even gone into the INI file once. I literally loaded Wabajack. I ran one program that you have to run manually anyway. And then I loaded the game with 1440 resolution, and it is fantastic. The depth perception on a widescreen is just fine, or the what do you call it? The field of view (FOV) is fine. Everything's perfect.
1440. I've got the nice TV there that'll do it too.
And Viva was made originally by one of the people that worked at Obsidian, who created the game.
I was looking through it. I saw that the John Sawyer pack is in there, like included, and a lot of your little like cool little quality of life things that you're talking about. Like the little, not the right ratio, but like certain little features you just feel like they should have been there. And you can almost think like, was this there? And I'm just not remembering it.
There's been a lot of that. Yeah.
They stripped so much from the game when it first came out. And that guy.
Here's what the game should have been if it had a few more months of work kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this is what the inside of the restaurant looked like as well.
That's a badass painting.
It was cool. I don't know if it quite fit with like.
That's a photograph of a room.
Stonerness.
Oh, it doesn't go in that room at all. The painting doesn't go in that room at all, but the rest of it is pretty good.
I imagine there's a place in Gainesville called Flacco's. I would see that up at Flacco's or something.
Yeah, that makes way more sense there with their little nuclear explosions.
This is much better than any of the paintings you find at Flacco.
He was insulted by your comparison there.
I very much was. The stuff in Flacco's it's a thing.
It is iconic locally.
It's exactly. It's much the owner decided they like to paint. But yeah, so this was the venue too. So like back in the corner, you can see like the little like around that corner is where the chef.
This is the whole room that you dine in?
Yeah. So this is how big the room was. So it's really small.
I thought this was like part of the restaurant, but this is it. Awesome. Okay.
On that note, I gotta scoot.
Yeah, you gotta go to work. Do it.
I got that whole work thing to go deal with.
Thanks for joining us. Gravity Crab's out of here, and thanks for getting me to play New Vegas again. He and I are gonna go through Fallout 2 one of these days. I was watching a little bit before you go. I was just watching a little bit of like how other people do game streaming because I don't know how you're supposed to do that. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier. I was inclined to not do that and just like, I fucking do it how I want. I don't care what's good. Here's what I want to do. But then I was like, okay, other people have probably figured out what's annoying and do a certain format for a reason.
Yeah.
And then I realized it's much less pressure than I thought, because people do spend like multi-episode hours of an entire playthrough of a game. And it's like, oh, yeah, this will be in episode 1, 2, and 3. And then I'll do an episode a week after that. And it's all the same playthrough. Yeah, I didn't realize that was so normal. I didn't realize people had that attention span. You know,
what I'm thinking that there's
exactly
out there like there's a Vine Sauce. I love some Vine Sauce every once in a while. I can sit there and watch that man play games for like 6 solid hours, and it's just good background noise for whatever the hell else I'm doing.
Which makes sense, because I'll hang out at a friend's house and watch them play a game and be like, oh, what's that over there? Oh, you top left, whatever.
Fallout 2 being a game that I know back and forth, like the back of my hand. I'm going to set this up with the Restoration Project, which adds all the cool stuff that was supposed to be added by the Fallout Bible, but there's a really great dev team that sorted it out.
I'm not a purist in the sense that I only want to play the game that wasn't finished.
Oh, this was signed off, like the Restoration team. They got signed off by the original devs. Like, this is perfect. Like, we love it.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that, and what we're going to do, and we're going to do this quicker because we keep doing that thing where we're like, we're going to do this. I'm going to make this happen because I love Fallout.
Okay.
I'm going to basically we're going to get on a stream like this. You're going to play the game, and I'm just going to kind of guide a little bit.
Yeah, that's great.
Along to some of this content.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll do it as decent gains, and we can use it as mining income for the company.
Yeah, it'll be a blast, honestly. So,
all right, have a good day. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you, sir, next week.
I will be here. Y'all have a wonderful morning.
Are we staying, Dave?
You and I are staying. Yeah, he's just
y'all are still stuck here.
We're done too, but he just needs to go like right now. So
bye, John. Bye, Dave. Bye, internet.
Bye.
So yeah. Thanks for showing those pictures. That's cool. I didn't realize the room you're talking about was literally like that's a small room. Yeah, but that's cool though too. So was it hard to get a seat there? What did you have to do to if there's 5 seats? Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's pretty it's pretty like not everybody. It's not like super high demand.
It's not supposed to be. It's
not as well known. You
don't need a waiting list if you just raise the price enough to where only that many people are going to come every day.
It also is like a little niche, and a lot of people go to like nice restaurants to say they went and had this chef or ate at this place. So the fact that like this is like kind of more of a covert thing, because what they're doing is, so my cousin writes for Forbes as their weed article person, as their weed expert. Yeah, really cool stuff. Actually,
it's a handy resource. Yeah.
And so New York like legalized weed, but there's not enough law, kind of like crypto. There's not enough laws to like govern it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like gray markets of like selling weed and like cannabis and anything like that happening. So there's a lot of gray area things happening in that realm. So I don't think what they're doing is legal, but it's also not illegal.
Is it recreational in New York?
Yes.
I know like New Jersey got that. I didn't know if New York was.
It's recreational, but
you have to obtain it from a certain source, right?
Yeah. It's super weird. There's no
I know like Colorado and out west further, there's a big gray market because like technically you're only allowed to get from certified growers of certain licenses or whatever, but like the demand is so high that people just get it from wherever and put it into their main stock, and say they got it from someone probably. Yeah, it's a bad system for sure.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's some cool stuff here. So everything he writes about, I'll share it really quick.
Okay.
Is weed based, and it's really interesting. But he talks about like the gray market cannabis, like that's in New York, where it's like it's not illegal but not entirely legal. It's super weird.
That's cool.
But that's him. And
I got the link. I'll look at that later.
Yeah. So like I think that's the other reason why it's not super popular. The dinner we had was because like it's not, they're not trying to like tell everybody they're doing this,
and they're not being bad people. They're just doing something that's like iffy in the eyes of the law. I get that. Yeah.
And also like during COVID, a lot of these dinners popped up because like restaurants were closed. So people were doing stuff like this. We're like, hey, it's more like come to my house and have a dinner and we'll pay and like just pay us for it. Kind of smaller size dinners. So I don't know. It's very interesting.
How did you find out about it then?
The internet. My wife found it just like Googling stuff.
Yeah, I Am says it's saying that it's illegal in New Jersey. It's legal in New Jersey and New York, but they still have people locked up for weed. That's the thing everywhere. Is like there's people. You know, I go down to the store and I show my license and I'm like, give me some cannabis, please. And they're like, what variety would you like? We have these strains and we have edibles and we have concentrates. You know, there's people sitting in jail for that same thing right now. And now it's like, oh, it's fine now, but we're not going to retroactively let people out. I think a lot of people need to be out of jail that didn't have violent crimes. If you are involved with violent crimes in like a drug ring, that there's other circumstances that were like fucked up about it, sure. But if you're just sitting in jail because of a possession charge or something, or for like a, oh, you sell weed to your friends charge, then those people need to be let the fuck out, in my opinion.
So there's like a lot of like, I think there's like, I absolutely agree with you. But then like the reason why I think it'll never happen is because you can't admit you are wrong legally, or else people are going to sue you.
Sue the fuck out of you.
Yeah. Like,
well, you could. I'm not a lawyer, but I would assume that would need some sort of sweeping legislation that says, okay, we have changed the laws. This is no longer illegal, and people won't go to jail for it. And we're not saying we were wrong. We are saying that this punishment no longer aligns with the current law and that kind of thing. You know, there would have to be some sort of way of saying it to where you could still say we were right. Under the law at the time, we were absolutely right. But the law has changed now. So there would have to be some loophole, some way the way you couldn't get, because like if the danger is you're going to get the shit sued out of you, you won't do it. You're right. Yeah.
It sets a precedent that could be used in other cases, I feel. And
yeah,
not that I think that those things are not okay. Like I'm just saying, like it sets a precedent that would then like spiral into everything else. And it's kind of like if they
precedent thing is weird. Yeah, the precedent thing is weird. It's the same thing like with laws and the fact that precedent overrides a law, right? A judge ruled this one way in the past based on the law. So we're going to take this judge's ruling as precedent and always rule that way in the future, even if maybe there's different circumstances and you could reinterpret the law in a different way or something like that. The standing of precedents, I think, is a problem. Yeah. It's the same argument that people use against gay marriage, to be honest. They're like, oh, well, if you allow this and there's a precedent, then that's going to be used for this, and this. You know,
well, judges can overturn things, but it just takes so much more time and energy and shit like that. Yeah, exactly. Because you have to know the law like this too and know what you're getting into. That's why politicians are lawyers. Like they have to know the laws that they're signing and that are real and stuff like that.
Assuming they read them.
You get to the point where you just have other people read it for you. But yeah, I don't know.
You would have to. Like, hey, we've got 5,000 pages to read in 12 hours. I need 30 people. Come read this and tell me what it says.
Yeah, you have a team. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
I wanted to address one last question that came in while we were on before we wrap this up today. I Am is asking about when you tell someone about Den, they say it sounds like mob rules social media. How do you respond to that? And it's a great question because I've had a lot of opportunity to figure out how to respond to misinterpretations of what I'm trying to do here with Den, what we're trying to do. And I would say that it's a similar argument people have against Elon buying Twitter, I guess, right? So Elon's take there is that the freedom of speech ends where the law says it ends. So you can't do things that are obviously abusive and against terms of service or the law. And so it isn't like a, no man's like Badlands, whatever, like mob rules kind of thing. In addition to that, Den is kind of like a mob rules, but where every mob has their own universe. Like if, and it's not a mob rules, right? It's a DAO. A lot of people don't know what that is, but a DAO is basically, it's an LLC, and they allow anybody who wants to just show up and participate as long as they follow the rules. So there is a terms of service, and there is U.S. law that we have to follow. So that in itself prevents it from being mob rule. Everything is voted on. The changes that are made, the terms of services, like whatever, if we have to change the terms of service because there's a certain behavior that we're seeing that is technically legal, but is not against our terms of service, we would then have a vote as the DAO to say, hey, what does everybody think? Here's the stuff we've been seeing. We kind of want to add this as a terms of service violation so that if people keep doing it in the future, they can be removed from the platform. We've already had death threats, for example, where a denizen had to be removed and their account disabled, and that had to go to a vote, actually, a DenDAO vote for the matter that was in that denizen's account. And I think we ended up returning anything that they had brought into Den from outside. We returned anything that they had, like, was their assets they brought in. We just sent it back to their Ethereum address. And then I think that the balance in the account that was earned maliciously or via, violating terms and stuff. This might have been a different case. Now that I think about it, there were two cases, but basically there was a case where, part of it was distributed into the rewards pools and things like that. So there are things that come up that have to be taken care of. Still sounds like they don't, let's see, no one, still sounds like mob rule, 51% DAO vote. Right, but that's how any thing works, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like there's some sort of, like here's the individuals that decide what the rules are, and people can either participate in that system or not, or they can on a layer level. If let's use politics for an example, right? I felt like there was a bunch. Yeah, play devil's advocate all the time. I am for I am. I don't ever think that you're being malicious. That's fine. It's a good point. So like attacking. Let's bring this down to the scale of a layer, because a lot of the same concepts can still apply. And let's use the politics layer, for example. When I first joined Den, I'm still pretty anti-Trump, but I was even more so then. And like I just did not participate in the politics layer because it was mostly about Trump, and it was mostly about it was technically about politics, but it was like the stuff that people like talking about in this layer is just not for me. And I wasn't even able to have a conversation with anybody about like stuff that they brought up that was that I would disagreed with. Even if I try to respond, it was like, you're just trying to be like violently pro-Trump, and that's not what I thought the conversation was about. You know what I mean? You're not going to convince me. I just want to talk about our differences. So that couldn't really happen because of the mob rule in the politics layer. But over time, the politics layer got more and more complaints about like, hey, I wish we had a politics layer, but this is basically a Trump layer. And what happened was we now ended up having a Trump layer, right? So we have the Donald, and most of the people that were only in the politics layer to talk about this one specific person on Earth and not politics in general, they fucked off to the Donald Trump layer, which is fantastic because I don't have to go there and listen to their bullshit, and I can just talk about politics in the politics layer without being bombarded by, yeah, but Trump will fix that. It's like talking to an obsessed Bitcoiner, So, it's free to make an account, to opt in, and it is incentivized. And if you follow the terms of service, and if you look at how money's earned, you literally can let's see. The best way to make the most money is to literally use the way the system is designed to address the different incentives that are on the system and get paid out based on consensus, right? And so, yeah, it's mob rule in that, like, if you don't like it, go the fuck away. You know what I mean? There's that. But at the same time, it is meant to be open to literally anyone, which is why the economy in each individual layer is, and the governance, especially in each individual layer, is separated from. It's not all tied together. You know, like Twitter feels like everyone's clumped into one room sometimes. You know, there's the different hashtags and all that, but this is nicely sliced into different, almost different universes, right? Like I talk about, there could potentially be both the flat Earth layer and the round Earth layer, and they could both coexist, but in their own layers. It's like being neighbors, right? You don't agree with everyone in your neighborhood, but they got their own house and they can do what the fuck they want in their own house, that kind of thing.
And
so that's, I guess, my
it's the same reason why like one post in one layer will get a lot of traction and the same post in another layer won't, because they're just like different people you're communicating with.
Yeah, right. So like the entire website doesn't have to be an echo chamber. Maybe you can just go to the echo chamber room that you like, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think there's definitely different strokes for different folks. And the job of Den is to have not a perfect system, but the best system possible, while still being, while not being, what are we trying not to be? Evil, I guess, right? The old Google slogan that they removed. When they started, they had "Don't be evil" as one of their guiding principles, but that's been removed since then. So maybe that can be ours. We can, since they don't want it anymore. You think Google would sue us for infringement if we adopted their guiding principle of "Don't be evil" that they don't have anymore?
I don't think they
like, it was like a thing they had.
Can be. I don't think "Don't be evil" as like a guiding principle is copyrighted. Like it's like saying like "Live, laugh, love" is copyrighted. Like this is how I live my life. Like live, laugh, love. Like I don't think you can copyright that. Like as a principle, I think if your slogan was "Zoom Zoom," you might have an issue, right?
Got you.
Or
we just want to go fast, and we're especially if you whisper it like Mazda did, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I don't think I have anything else to talk about today. Where are you at?
I'm good. I actually got to go.
Cool. Perfect timing.
I got it.
All right. Well, let me see us out with Enter the Dragon, like we always do. And thanks again to Dom, to I Am for I Am, for chiming in. That always makes it more interesting, gives us something relevant to talk about, especially if we don't have anything at the moment. May the 4th be with you. Episode 2 is, by consensus on this show, among the hosts, the worst Star Wars film in the trilogy of trilogies. And what else have we learned today? Layer proposals are open. So if you have something that you don't see in the list to vote on, you can go propose one. There is a Dendroid, an Android one proposed right now. So check that out. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning for World Blockchain Roundtable at 11 a.m. Eastern. And our topic, let's see if I can remember our topic. What's our topic? Let's go see what our topic is, and then we'll go. Our topic for World Blockchain Roundtable is Control F, WBRT.
Base Enterprise Resource Planning.
No, it's not. Is it? Oh, it's interoperability, dummy. Is that right? No, this is a different one. Dang it. Are you right and I'm wrong?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a good one. I mean, they're all good, but this one I'm excited about. I mean, I'm excited about all of them, but this one's going to be interesting. I mean, they're all interesting, but you see what I'm getting at. It is History of Cryptography, Blockchain, and Metaverse in Pop Culture. So this is the one where people are like, oh, books, right? So I remember Jacob Wayne had this question: does the public realize how important Snow Crash was when it was published, or did it build up notoriety later when blockchain technologies entered the scene? So questions like that. I hope we talk about Snow Crash. I hope we get a bunch of recommendations for books. Maybe we can talk about The Sovereign Individual, or about, I like Neuromancer, books and pop culture and stuff. But yeah, other pop culture that isn't books, movies, fucking Hackers, 1995, one of my favorite movies. Stands up today, campy, yeah, hilarious though. Angelina Jolie, Matthew Lillard, other people. this will be a fun episode. So check that out on Thursday. Go over to the World Blockchain Roundtable right now and add a question for us tomorrow, or a topic for us to talk about that's within the scope of this conversation. Do it, and you shall be rewarded if you get to the top and we hit your question. So that's it. Obviously, the Den.Dow is every week. That's also tomorrow, the Den.Dow call. John, you can come on and complain about stuff if you want and talk about how they remove the words from the icons or how they use the wrong icon for layers, or maybe that's David's thing. But the Den.Dow, that's a meeting, not really a show. It's just a meeting, like a governance meeting. But you can find out a lot about what's coming, what just came, stuff like that. And then that'll be it. That'll be the week, won't it? And then there's no shows. There's no live shows on Friday. But there is Monday through Thursday now. There's shows. I hang out and do a non-show Monday mornings too now, just for anybody who wants a demo or wants to ask questions or that kind of thing. It's just me not doing a show, but just being at my desk and listening to classical music, because that's the only thing that will not get the stream shut off for violating copyright.
You can also turn the music. You can also just not have the music streamed.
Yeah. But that's less interesting, I feel like. I would if it's just me at my desk working, waiting for anyone to like chime in, I would rather have like Bach or something playing in the background. You know what I mean? Something anyway. So, or maybe I'll just be silent. I'll try a silent show.
Well, you can have music outgoing for just you, and then not stream the music.
That's true. That's true.
So that way, when people chime in, like there's no Bach in the background.
Would you get a problem with Bach? All right, cool. Yeah, thanks again. I am Fram. See you later. John, I will talk to you later. We got to talk about the 19th and get that poster from you. We have a show information post up in Gainesville layer, but we want to do all the other networks too. And I'm just waiting for that poster, and then we can spam it.
Sounds good.
Tastefully spam it. Have a good day, man.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye, y'all. Thanks again. See you around.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.